What up? What up? Tuesday night. You know what time it is. 8:30. It's time for your weekly dose, I should say, weekly dose of hockey knowledge coming from the boys of the Hockey Happy Hour. We got live reactions to my Ducks versus their Flyers. We got updates on the Rangers and Minnesota coming from Brad Ryer up there in the top corner. Trade bait talk. We got a lot to talk about trade bait wise. And we're gonna have a little game somewhere. So you want to stick around. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's go talk about it.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2.com. I am along with the Darkwing Brian Daly,
What up?
the Broken One Rob Povia,
Mother of God.
See, that one I got.
and Mr. Blue Shirt, Mr. Broadway himself, Brad Ryer. And we welcome you all to another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour live on A2DRadio.com, where we are doing live reactions to the end of the second period and then the third period of the Flyers last year, and the Ducks actually came out on top. This time, the Flyers are leading 2-1 right now. So we'll see if the Flyers can even up the Hockey Happy Hour series between these two franchises, between the two show teams, as we like to say. Well, now there's three show teams because Mr. Brad Ryer here being the Rangers fan and all. Of course, flat series from the lost OT game. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by the Doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. Especially if you have any accidents, go to www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com and get that taken care of, because happened in life. One day you moving fine, everything's going great. Accident happens, you hurt your shoulder, your arm, your leg. Next thing you know, you're walking with a limp, or you can't lift things as well as you used to. Let the doc take care of you. Go visit him at Burlington, New Jersey. His team right there is just going to make you feel great. And then you won't have those aches and pains anymore. You'll be back to doing what you do best, moving and grooving at the job. All right.
Moving and grooving.
Our poll question for brought to you by none other than BOAGGIO'S Bread. If you got any big feasts coming up, or any special holiday celebrations, or birthday, or what have you, and you want to get some good food for everyone who's coming to the festivity, definitely find your way to BOAGGIO'S Bread. And it looks like the Flyers might have found their way to some good food right there, because Morgan Frost on that. Laurel, New Jersey, that's where BOAGGIO'S Bread is found. And it's home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Purchase. The 3-1 Flyers here. Near
That was a nice goal.
3-1, 30-12 shots in favor of the Flyers for tonight. Ivan Provorov will be dealt at the trade deadline. Agree. Done. I think I have flapped my gums long enough. Take it away. Do you agree or disagree?
I think this is a pretty easily agree. We got three teams that I know of that are linked to Provorov, and talks are, starting to really heat up here, and apparently both parties are willing to move on in a mutual breakup. So, you got the Kings involved. Edmonton, I heard, is linked to Provy now. I heard Vancouver's linked to Provy as well. So there's some suitors out there looking for him. And, I think he needs to change his surname more than the Flyers need him right now. But, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I think this is a total agree. I think Provy's on limited time here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm with you too, Brian. I got to agree with this poll as well. But if and only if the Flyers are able to get a first-round pick plus 2 more usable pieces that they feel really great about. With a buyer's market and lots of names floating out there leading towards the March 3rd deadline, they may not get that much of a haul for him that they need. But that should be the price because Philly doesn't need to move him. Look, he's still only 25. He could take back off with new scenery that you spoke of, Brian, off with another team. And the Flyers need to get that value, especially heading into this draft. But in terms of him remaining on this team, I've lost confidence that he could be a top pairing guy, and that's what the Flyers drafted him to be. Nobody they put next to Provy since Niskanen has helped elevate his game, especially offensively. You remember when he had 17 goals as a 21-year-old in 2018? Well, that seems like a lifetime ago, boys. Cam York doesn't seem to be helping him. And with a lack of accountability in the locker room and some finger pointing that we saw a lot more last year, but still going on this year, I'm willing to say bye-bye.
No, I agree. I totally agree with this. To your point with York being his defensive partner, you're looking at a guy who has been in the league a lot longer than Yorkie has been. Can York still elevate his play? Absolutely he can. But you're looking at experience versus a guy who is, technically his 3rd year? So there's a little bit of a difference there, especially when it comes to leadership. But, York can absolutely still elevate his play, and he's not. But I think he's going to wind up in Edmonton.
Edmonton makes the most sense. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you going to get back Darnell Nurse, or are you going to get back a draft pick?
They got the draft picks to move. They also have young defensemen, too, they can move, too, like Proberg.
As long as you guys aren't trying to get, Nurse, because he's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Nurse.
All joking aside, he probably should be traded. I think I don't think that he's going to reach his full potential with the Flyers right now. I think the Flyers are a couple of years away from, playoff, possibly Stanley Cup contention, probably a couple of years off. And I think, this is his prime right now. And I think they probably should do him a favor and do themselves a favor and move him and get a maximum return. Every team in the NHL, really, other than maybe 2 or 3, could use a defenseman of his ability. And I just think in the right situation, he can start scoring goals again. I just think it's a very tough spot that he's in right now. The Flyers are in a rebuild, or whatever you want to call it, retool, rebuild. I think he does need to go. I think you guys need to bring in another young kid and try to make this happen.
Brad, it's one of their, marketable pieces right now on a team that you don't have much because you have a lot of young, unproven talent. Next to moving, a guy like TK is really developed in leadership as well as his fine play on ice and his point streaks. Who else do you got that you can get good value and a first-round pick for back? You're getting a second-round pick for JVR, certainly not a first-round pick. I don't think there's anyone else on the squad that you could get a first-round pick back for. That's Provy, and if you're not ready to utilize him now, I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, here's my thing.
TK would get you guys maybe 2 first-round picks, I think.
Oh yeah. I said other than TK.
Yeah, he would get.
I'm back on board of TK staying now. He's back in my good graces.
That's why I tweaked it. That's why I tweaked the poll questionnaires, because a lot of people are on the verge of we need TK. We got people,
Okay.
in Facebook groups all over the place. TK needs to see. TK needs to see. He should definitely be in the conversation. Do I think he needs to see? No, but that's a whole nother question.
How old is he right now?
TK's 25, 26.
Oh, I thought he was older than that. Yeah, they should keep him then. He's in
Absolutely.
his prime. I mean, they could build around him.
But I mean, with Provorov, I think teams are going to be more willing to overpay for a defenseman, especially some of these ones that are trying to push.
Oh, absolutely. Listen,
into the playoffs and
at the trade
Edmonton
deadline, everybody is looking for defensemen.
Absolutely, and Edmonton specifically because they've fallen flat on their face. How many times in the last couple of years getting into the playoffs? Barely.
Every year.
I think
True
they've been out of
story.
the first round one time since they've had McDavid.
Seattle. I think Seattle could probably use him too.
They probably could.
I think Seattle's a team. Seattle's a team that nobody talks about, but
And they're rolling.
They're what 26-13 now.
So yeah, something like they just smoked somebody last week.
Boston in
Yes.
Boston in Boston.
Yes,
They shut
it
him
was.
out.
They set an NHL record, seven game winning streak on the road. Never been done before.
That's
great for them.
really
man.
good.
Great for them, yeah. I mean, it's good because Seattle was the team that people were like laughing at for their expansion draft, and now look at where they are.
Guys, I hate to bring this up, but Martin Jones, he I think he might be my first star of the week this week. Just I think in the last 5 games he's 5-0 and 2 shutouts. Yeah, I hate to bring it up, but he's really he's been unbelievable in the last week or two.
Real quick, Damien, what's up, brother? That's our brother from down under.
Saying that Proby has the same type. Swoopy saying that Proby has the same type of character issues like Pickenen did. Anthony saying Ted is saying 25 turns 26 in March.
Okay, yep.
And then on that, Damien saying, hey guys, top show. What's up, Damien?
Appreciate you, Damien.
Joe saying, wouldn't mind trading Proby if our other big contract guys like Hayes can't move Hayes, no movement clause. He would have to agree to that. It's waiver.
Good point.
Then he says, or Ristolainen. Ristolainen, that would be a tough contract to swallow. I don't know if they would want it.
Huge hit on Jones tonight, though. Shows what he's capable of. Huge
Big hit. Clean hit, too. That's the
clean hit. Yeah, that didn't get the call. It
Clean.
was a tripping later that got the call, not the hit itself.
Yep.
Right.
Clean hit. He left his head down a little bit. Risto came in and popped him.
Right.
Yep. And
Jay, what's up,
Jay
brother?
Harrison Bennett, what's up, man? Saying great stuff as usual, Brian. TK is 20 right wing 1 with TK and right wing 2 with Tippett for the next 5 to 6 seasons.
Real quick, I want to give
Then
him a quick
John,
shout out real quick,
what's up,
Matty.
John? Saying, what up, gents? Trade everyone. Brian, you're my boy. Sure.
Yes. So real quick, Jay Harrison Bennett, one of the administrators in the Flyers Nation Facebook group. Check it out. He does a great job running it. He's always in there. He's doing a great job making sure that it stays what it's supposed to be, and that's Flyers fans, hockey fans in there talking hockey, talking Flyers, keeping it that way. So definitely check out Flyers Nation, one of the better Facebook groups I'm a part of. I'll give my man a shout out there. I love Jay. He's a good dude.
All right. No, that's understandable. Keep up the good work, brother. All right. Ted saying, Vancouver has the 7th worst record in the league right now. Why would they want Profi? And could they give us a legit package?
Suppose you guys got Besser for him. Just asking.
I'd like it.
That might be a pretty good deal. I mean,
right.
you guys definitely need some scoring up front, and I think he would really add to your to your offense.
He's looking to get out too. I mean, either Bo Horvat too, for that matter.
Well, one of those two were going to go because they can't pay.
Yeah.
They can't pay both of them.
Right, exactly.
Well, I think
They decided it was smarter to pay JT Miller all that money and not keep those two guys.
I prefer Bo Horvat. I'm going to talk about Bo Horvat later on in the show.
same. I'm going to talk about Brock a little bit more too, but I listen. I wouldn't hate trading Brock Besser. He needs change of scenery. He's not having a terrible year.
In the worst way.
Mm-hmm. He's not having a terrible year though. He's on a bad line, but he's still putting up some decent numbers. Not the numbers that we're used to seeing with Brock, but he's putting up solid. Like Vancouver, they need to overhaul too.
Yeah, it's like the Patrick Kane thing with Besser. He's on a lousy team. He's in a lousy situation as far as the line he's on. Perhaps a move to a more welcoming place on a more welcoming line might help him immensely. Get in the right side. I mean, I don't watch the Canucks a lot, but I don't know if how much power play time he gets. But if he's not getting a lot of power play time, that could certainly be one of the reasons he's not had the kind of year that you would expect.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I don't watch the Canucks. So.
I mean, the Patrick Kane situation got
Nobody
interesting,
does.
and I want to talk about that a little bit more later. But I mean, I think a swap like that could be good for both sides because like you just said, and we're saying both sides they need to change scenery. I think Brock put in a situation like coming to Philly. I think would be good for him because one, it's a bunch of passers and he loves shooting, knows how to produce offensively. And
he's a gunner. He'd be a good fit on any team that's too much pass first.
Yeah, and he pretty much fits right into what the Flyers are trying to do, and he's a pretty young player for the most part. Mid-20s, I believe. I think he's around the same age as TK. Maybe he might be a year or maybe 2 years older. But, I mean, with his contract, that could get interesting. But if you want to make that move, you got to make that move involving Ivan Provorov or Kevin Hayes or somebody with a bigger contract, JVR. Maybe you can get Vancouver to eat JVR's contract for a year to take on Brock Besser. Not sure, but, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to go in that situation.
Yeah, he's got 26 points in 35 games this year. Okay? He has scored 282 points in 359 games. So he's like 0.75 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a pretty consistent player. It's not like he's exactly played with a lot of top quality forwards.
All right.
There.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think also moving to the East might actually help him because I just think that this division, the Metro, is such a competitive division. I think that would be in his favor. I think a lot of guys that come into our division seem to play, that like the physical play, seem to like playing in our division. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's an interesting.
So let's see here. We also have Anthony saying I would trade Provy to Montreal. None would hear his name again. Ted also says, "Look,
I know you want Cole Caulfield
Ducks
for
need
that,
his chat.
right?
That's a perfect trophy for the Ducks 2023. Both sides a win. Who says no?"
What do you mean? You want a 2023 first? That's not going to work out. It's going to be number 2 overall.
Let's make a deal. Come on.
No.
You could end up getting number 1.
We could.
I'm sure.
It's a lot. Remember, it's a lottery. It's a lottery. I mean,
I'm not so sure the Ducks would go for that, honestly. Now we have having a great
no chance.
We need a superstar. Who are you going to send us a superstar? Provy? Provy's not a superstar. You just knock it off, Ted.
What does Bedard have now? Like 29 points in his last 10 games?
I think it's
All
even more
right.
than that. I think he's got like 30 or 40 something in his last 10 games.
Ugh.
Kid's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, he's putting up Gretzky-like numbers.
Just remember, we had a chance to tank for him this year, and the Flyers chose not to.
They made the right. I think the Flyers made the right choice.
I mean, the thing with the Flyers is that they may be
We'll see.
they're not a playoff team, but they're not as bad as some of these other teams.
Yeah,
That's
you got to
the thing.
develop those guys into a winning culture, and that's got to start today. That's got to start right now.
Absolutely.
You can't just put them out there and have them lose.
Right,
I mean, you'll kill their confidence and you'll kill their growth.
right. Where you
Nah,
take some
you know what?
diamonds in the rough, and they get blemished. Yep,
Exactly.
Yep.
They were saying today on the NHL Network, I believe. They had who did they have on today? They had the goalie that's always on. The guy who used to play for the Rangers. I just can't remember his
Kevin
name
Weeks.
now. Weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
They had him and a couple other guys on, and they were saying that Tortorella might be doing his best coaching job in his career this year, with all the guys he's brought along that are playing over their heads. I mean, I think they're only like 3 games under 500 or something like that. And that's with the
500.
well, if regulation wins and regulation losses. They're not counting overtime losses. But I think they're only 3 games less than they've lost in regulation, which is that's pretty good when you consider all the young players that they have playing right now.
Yeah, they were 500 going into the game the other night against
So the
Big
third
Bad
period.
Bruins.
Yeah, well, the Bruins are pretty good guys.
They're all right.
They're playing at a very high level right now. So
7 points out of a playoff spot.
So the third period is up and ready to go.
Rob, the problem
I'll
is
be
there's
starting off
about
in just a quick
there's like
second.
5 or 6 other teams that are right there with them.
Yep.
That's the hard part.
Yep.
If had it not been for that 10-game losing streak,
John-
or was it 11? If you threw that out, they've actually been pretty good. They just had a rough 3-week period. But I think they've been highly competitive for the most part this season in most of their games. They had a couple of tough games, but again, they're against elite teams. They've had a tough time, but that's what's supposed to happen, right? And now the Minnesota Wild, by the way, have taken a 3-2 lead after 2 in Washington. So the team you guys are chasing for the playoffs right now, because even though Pittsburgh is even with them, Pittsburgh's played, I think, 3 less games than Washington. So Washington is the team that you guys are trying to catch. They're losing again. So I think the Wild have a grand total of 12 shots through 2 periods and 3 goals. And Ryan Reeves tonight actually proved that he could actually do something. He stood in the net and screened the goalie.
So right now, the Ducks just had a really good opportunity there, but Urson. Let's see, Jay Harrison Bennett saying Flyers are 14-3-2 when healthy, with Hart or Urson in net, and still without Coots or Atkinson after tonight. If they win, they'll be. I say if because I don't like to throw guarantees out there with any Flyers team ever. This is the same franchise that managed to lose a hockey game in 1 period. So
Right.
Nothing personal, but Brian. But we are talking about the Ducks, right?
Who
What
do
about
have some talented goal scorers though that could cut a 3-1 lead down real quickly.
Yeah, but they're turning poor Josh Gibson into into an average goalkeeper, which is really hard to do.
Tonight, it's good to see old friend Stoley the
Is he-
goalie in that.
Yes,
Is
sir.
he gonna get traded, Brian?
I don't know, honestly, but I think right now it's going to happen sooner than later. They have the goaltender of the future in Lucas Dostal.
Yeah, they got to do him. They got to do him right and send him to a contender. At this point, I'm sure. From what I've heard, he loves it there. But for his career, he needs to step it up and go to another venue.
So to fill you in here, so every year they do Ducks Day in Disneyland because obviously they're right outside of Disneyland. They're literally right around the corner. A lot of fans had issues with John Gibson and his attitude that day, meeting fans and all that. So it's starting to get to the point where not just the fact that they're stuck in the rebuild year after year after year, wasting his talent. Now he's getting blown up just about every game he plays because the defense is playing piss poor in front of him. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out in the next couple weeks and says, hey, I want out. You got Stoley on a 1-year deal. You could always re-sign him and be the backup. You got Lucas Dostal, who's ready to go. You have Oliver Ekman-Larsson's brother. I forget his first name. All right, maybe it is Oliver. Who's the one that plays in Minnesota?
That's Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Okay. All right. So his
He got traded. He got traded there. I think last
no,
season.
not Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Emerson Eck. Sorry, Oliver Emerson.
Emerson Eck. Okay.
Emerson Eck.
Okay.
Okay.
He plays in Minnesota too.
Let's all right. Let's fix that. Eriksson Eck is Ollie Eriksson Eck. It will probably necessarily be the next in line. Should Stoley walk at the end of the year, but it wouldn't surprise me if Gibson says, "Hey, I want out." This team should be playing a lot better than they are. Like Rob said, there's still some firepower on this team. Mason McTavish is having a solid rookie year, but Adam Henrique is having a great season for where he is in his career. He's 15 goals this year. He's got the only goal for the Ducks tonight. There's some young talent there.
He's only on a 1-year contract though, isn't he?
I think he's got 2 years left.
Oh, he's got 2 years left.
He's got 2 years left.
Would he be I would think he might be a trade candidate.
He's a captain candidate right now. I don't know if they trade him.
Okay.
Shattenkirk, I heard on the block.
Then again, you got to have some veterans on the team.
He's the one. He might be the only one I want to keep. You could trade the rest of the vets. If I had my list of guys that I would trade right now from Anaheim, Comtois, Shattenkirk, Klingberg, Vetrano, Silverberg. If I didn't say Silverberg, I would trade Sam Carrick.
What about Strome? How's he doing?
He's been pretty solid. Obviously, the offensive production from the entire team isn't where you want it to be, but Stromer's been pretty good. I have no issues with the way that he's played this year. I like his leadership in the locker room.
Nice.
Oshie just missed an open net.
Kevin Hayes gets his second of the night
Son of a
with an
bitch.
assist from Super.
Oh, that was
Light the lamp.
Oh, that was a pretty goal. Wow, good passing play there.
It was.
Sorry, Sully. Boy, he looks like he wants out of Anaheim too.
Oh. I mean, it's understandable.
Another bad turnover.
Yep, I was just about to say the same thing. It's like watching mirror images sometimes. Tell you what, good things happen when Kevin Hayes actually shoots the puck at the net instead of passing like we saw earlier in this contest.
This is crazy. Like, this is bad turnover after. Where the hell was Klingberg?
Look, Kevin Hayes has an excellent wrist shot. He always has.
Mm-hmm.
He's very accurate with it too.
He's definitely making up for his game after the other night in Boston. I know. I heard he didn't have a great game.
Nobody had a great game in Boston yesterday.
Surprising though, he usually plays well in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way Boston is playing right now, I just.
Let's see. Anthony also said, no one cares about the Ducks. Go to Disney because Disney is overrated and a waste of money.
You're overrated
Tom
in a
is
way
saying
of money.
hello. What's up, Tommy?
Goodness gracious.
What up, Tommy?
Joe's saying I'm like 20 seconds ahead of his YouTube stream, yet I'm seconds behind you guys. So I'm also ahead and behind at the same time. Very weird.
It's weird sensation.
Gotta go back in time.
Oh man. Anthony said Lord Alfred Hayes had a nice goal. Oh, I like that. Nice. Lord Alfred Hayes. Good pull there from the wrestling
Lord
side
Alfred
of
Hayes.
things. And Don
Yeah.
saying, what's up? What's up, Don?
Dun,
What up,
dun.
baby?
All the regular hitters in the
Gonna
YouTube
say-
chat are here tonight.
Love it, love it. Did it!
And let's see. Swoopy saying Keith Yandel is coming back. Is he really?
No.
Oh God. He's so done. The only reason he lasted so long is because of his streak. Let's be
Yep.
honest.
Yeah.
Ted, don't throw him under the bus like that. Shh.
What you don't know,
Always
Ted,
put me
is
on blast.
the Mighty Duck series.
What about the Mighty Duck series?
This is your audition tape for it.
I don't want to be a part of that crap. That shit sucks. That's so terrible. They took the end of the second season and they made it D2. Like, are you serious? Stop it. No, I'm done. I'm done. You lost me.
That was not a quack quack for Mr. Ducksworth.
No, it was not.
Although Swoopy saying he's just messing, by the way, for the with the Keith Yandel comment.
Oh, sure.
Oh, of course.
Meanwhile, Anthony's saying he's working on a Waffle House.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some interesting stories. You know what he probably did? He's probably working at the one in Austin, Texas, the one where that huge brawl went down, and the chick started hammering away on people, had a chair thrown at her, and she went poof, threw the chair away, and just like, what? Did y'all see that video? Say
No.
what?
No.
I kind of wish I did, actually.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's some badassness right there.
Look it up. I swear to God, I saw the video myself. Crazy shit went down in the Waffle, like it always does. It's Waffle House. Waffle House after midnight, you don't want to go in there. It's a shit show.
Unless you have wrestlers around.
Got into a fight with a couple of the staff members, and this one girl, she's a little girl. She's not big either. She's not a big girl. Starts hammering away on this chick. The chick gets loose, walks away, and the next thing you know, you see a chair come flying. She somewhat catches it with her hand and throws it to the side and just kind of steps up. Is like, what? Is that the best you got?
Penny's Nation got the name Waffle House Windy.
Bro, guys, I kid you not. They put it to the Avengers music. It was legendary. It was absolutely legendary. You guys have to see it. And you have to find it with the Avengers music put on it.
Real quick for all those that can't tune into the game tonight, NBC Sports Philadelphia showing a great graphic here, talking about the fewest starts to the first career shutout in Flyers history for goalies. Both goaltenders in this game tonight appearing on this list. Stolarz got a career shutout in his second career game, and Harrison, as we know, with his shutout of Buffalo, was his fifth NHL game, coming in fifth in place for the Flyers. First place, Robbie Moore, his first game in 78-79, got himself a shutout.
Wasn't that his one game, actually, too, for the Flyers?
Maybe. I was just born.
Oh.
Just.
I wasn't born yet. I had a couple years left before I was still a twinkle in my dad's eye.
Well, here, let me look that up. Let me see if that was his only game as a Flyer, just out of pure sheer curiosity.
I like
His
it.
first game, he got a shutout.
Let's see. I mean,
The
hey,
Rangers had somebody
stranger
who
things have
got a
happened in the
shutout his
NHL.
second game against the Sabres when the Sabres were god awful.
Here, hold on a second. Let me. Let me
Why you
see
do that?
here.
And yeah, I'm sure she did get fired, bro. She was caught fist fighting with the guest. I don't care what the situation is. If you're fist fighting with a guest and you're working, you're on the clock, you're getting fired. I don't care what the situation is. So yeah, rightfully so. She should have gotten fired.
I'd give her promotion.
What was it?
I'm catching a chair and throwing it to the side. And
Just
acting like a boss.
fucking pulling out fucking Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse shit.
Seriously, it's not even a joke. Waffle House Wendy, yeah, that's her name.
So Robbie Moore had a total of so get this. Robbie Moore had a total of 3 whole games here, and he actually had 2 shutouts out of his 3 games, leaving him with a 1.87 goals against average and a 922 save percentage for his entire career. The other game was a loss, by the way. The one that he didn't have a shutout in. Now let's see, and yeah. So he played 5 games with the Flyers. He played 5 games with the Flyers, apparently, and a 1 record in that. Now, this is off of Hockey Reference. They're also saying his 1 loss came when he played for Washington. So, is basically the times he played. And he played in 1978-79 for the Flyers at age 24. He didn't come back to the NHL and play in 82-83 when he was 28. So that's okay. That's an interesting career in NHL. Not too many to speak, and not too many games to speak of, but memorable ones.
I don't know how memorable they are. I don't remember them.
Okay, do you guys happen to remember a Mackenzie Skapski? He played for the New York Rangers, played 2 games back in, I think, 2008, 2009. Lundqvist was playing. No, it was, what season was, I can't remember what season it was now. Lundqvist was injured, and Cam Talbot was playing for the Rangers, and Cam Talbot was putting on a show, but he couldn't play back-to-back games. So they brought up this kid. His first game in his career, he gave up a goal 14 seconds into the game and then shut out the Sabres. And then his second game, which came like 3 months later, he played the Sabres again and won 2-0. So he got a shutout, and he was, I think, 20 years old at the time. And then in the offseason, he got into a car accident, totally messed himself up, and he could never play in the NHL again. I think now he's like 28 years old, and he's playing in some league in Europe.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that name now.
Story.
I think I remember hearing that story. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's I can remember that. I remember that.
Get to well, speaking of crazy stories, though, Lanier we'll have to talk about when we get to around the league.
There's a lot going on around the league.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Heyo.
Pulling that Mike Richards and Jeff Carter shit that we were talking about last week.
Also happened to a nicer guy.
Apparently, I missed something. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm looking forward to around the league now.
You and me too, both, man. I'm staying tuned.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah, something crazy happened with Robin Lanier. It happened. Don't you worry. Greg saying, "What's up, fellas? I hashtag disagree to the poll. Want to keep Provy around."
He's the only one. Greg, why can't you ever agree to a goddamn poll?
And
no, I mean, I read it in preparation of tonight's show. I read an interesting article in the Philadelphia Inquirer, and they did make a good case for him to stay as well. You know what I mean? To be patient with them, and I don't want to get into the specifics of someone else's opinion, but there are as many people that are for trading him. There are probably equal amount that are you'd say you got to hold on to him because they're afraid of you trade him somewhere else and he really blows up in a better situation. And it's impossible almost to not have mud in your face. That's why I said at the beginning of the show, no matter what he does once he leaves, if you get yourself a first rounder and 2 usable pieces right now, you can sleep well at night.
But my thing is like, how much more patient does this fan base have to be with him? I mean, it's not like he's still young. I mean, he's young, but I mean, he's 26 years old. Like, how much more patient do we have to be? This kid, he's been up since what? He was 20, 21. He's got what, 5 years under his belt?
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, he needs to be blossoming at this point. Like, it might just be the system that just doesn't work for him. Maybe, like, I'm with you, Rob. Like, you got to trade him while he's got the value. You can definitely get a first rounder back for him. I believe. I strongly believe that. Maybe a player.
Absolutely for a defenseman.
Yeah.
Like him. Yeah, absolutely.
And teams will push for him. You just sit there and be like, we want at least a first rounder, and then let's just say the 3 teams I mentioned earlier: the Kings, the Canucks, and Edmonton battle it out for him.
The Kings really, really need a goaltender because they're still relying on Quick, and Quick is not even close to playing where he at the level he was a few years ago. I think all the injuries and age has finally caught up with him.
This is probably 7th season, by the way.
Was it 2018 his rookie year, or was it 17?
2016 to 2017.
That's what it
This is
was.
rookie
Yeah,
year,
I thought so. The 18 was the 17 goal performance. Really was like the year where we're like, oh, we got a good player here in Provorov, and a guy you would think would be instant on your top D pairing. I think that's just the problem. He's just not a top D guy. You know what I mean? But the argument that that article in the Inquirer was making was that, you know, the Flyers haven't been in a great situation in quite some time. So how much do you hold that against, you know, they're your players which whom you've once deemed elite?
No, I mean, it's a fair argument. I get it, but
I'm just saying they have no motivation to have to move them at this point, especially with the prospectus that at some point in the near future the cap will be being raised up, right? But if you can get back the plus return that we're talking about, then you pull the trigger, and only if.
And listen, I would be willing to sacrifice Ivan Provorov to get another draft pick in this draft. You load up on another really solid player. Maybe you even use that draft pick to get a defenseman. There's some good defensemen in this draft too. Bring in Proberg from Edmonton. There's another really young defenseman, something Bouchard. He's another solid young defenseman. You bring him in, maybe get him in the deal. That way, you're getting another defenseman back, another young defenseman back. These guys, both players are younger than Provy, and both players I think are better players than Provy. But load up on as many draft picks as you can get in this draft. Sacrifice a couple players, because after this, I don't know much about the 24 draft yet, but I know it's not going to be as good as this one.
No, this one is really good. This one is good and it's deep.
Joe is saying third coach,
I get it.
Third different philosophy.
I get
Not surprised any of our tenured guys struggle.
Yeah, I get it, Joe. This is a great point.
Well, that's more of the problems that I have brought up multiple times, where the organization has constantly tried to half-ass their way back into the playoffs and have half-assed their way through rebuilds and really have not planned ahead of time in the future. Don't like that problem. It does your team, and it does this kind of damage to your players. When you start a rebuild, you got to see it through. You can't just, try and pull out halfway through, Even if you are a fan of the pull-out method, you don't stop halfway through. That's fucking shitty,
This is lazy.
Yeah.
How about trading him to the Canucks for Elias Peterson?
Yeah, I've heard rumors of him possibly wanting out. Nothing.
Yeah, he's
yet.
another one. That would be a nice move on the Flyers' part to get a guy like that. I mean, that guy's is a legit. He can he has a lot of assists. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean Elias in the right situation, I think he could be a tremendous goal scorer. I definitely thought coming out of the draft that he was definitely a 30-40 goal scorer, and I still think that. I mean, he's going.
He's got incredible vision, and he makes a lot of nice passes. I mean,
yeah, and I believe he's only 22 or 23 years old too, so he seems to. They've been talking about trading him
Come
too.
on.
With this Anaheim penalty.
Nah, I get it, you know, and Eagles are the toast of the town, but it's a Flyers game. Go to the Flyers game with an Eagles jersey. Come on, that's like, would you go to the Eagles game wearing a Phillies jersey?
No,
well, probably not. You'd freeze your ass off, but.
Oh, really freeze your ass off. Wear a Sixers jersey out there.
Good point. Good point.
That doesn't really offend me, though, to be honest with you. It doesn't offend me nearly as much. At least they're a fan of a team. Not like when you go to a game and you're not wearing either team's jerseys that's playing. Yeah. That annoys the shit out of me. I'm going to watch the Flyers and the Ducks play. I'm going to wear a St. Louis Blues jersey. Why the fuck are you wearing a St. Louis Blues jersey in a Flyers versus Ducks game, you fucking asshole? Fucking wear a fucking relevant jersey.
I'm guilty of doing that one time. One time. Just one time. I was in Houston. They were playing the Cincinnati
I'll let
Reds.
you have the one. All right.
I was wearing it. They were playing the Cincinnati Reds. I was young, dumb, and naive at the time. And I wore my Phillies t-shirt. I was that guy. Haven't done it since. I've gotten smarter in my age. We'll never do that again.
What's the saying? Young, dumb, and full of...
Oh, boy.
Conflicting emotions.
Super awkward. Thanks, Rob.
I didn't say it.
You didn't? Well, you said it. You just didn't finish.
That's right.
Which I
see what you did there.
I heard that happen when you guys
well done, Bri. Well done.
Yeah, you old guys over there. I heard that happens to you guys once in a while. So.
Damn.
Womp womp.
That's just. Whew, that is some. Whew. Damn, Bri. You didn't have to freaking just come at his throat like that. God damn.
I have a response to that, but I'm going to keep it to myself because it's not good.
Oh. All right, so Anthony's saying my problem is the same play for more than one season that they are not getting better. Everyone blames the coach, and you keep getting shitty GMs to help fix the team, and then you have people like Bobby Clark always have to say in everything and not let the GM do the job. Well, saying it's been an organizational issue. It's been one of the biggest issues that has popped up over the last decade and a half that we've been dealing with the Flyers, either or making the playoffs first round out or not finishing rebuilds. That's basically what we've been watching. A team that's been
Bobby
kind of
Clark
spinning
doesn't really
for a
have
whole decade.
much of any.
Not a fun thing to watch.
What's been interesting is Danny Briere's effect on the team in terms of Morgan Frost's development, where he's worked with them, you know, like definitely like, and it makes sense. Definitely same type of player.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I don't know how much influence
that
Bobby Clark still has in this organization.
I don't know that he has the influence he used to have.
Absolutely not. Yo, what's up, Patrick?
But
hey, well, what's up, Pat? 2007, Bobby's say has kind of been tempered a little bit, especially with that, because that was for it, and at least he did, because it was kind of his fault of what happened in 07.
Are you referring to them taking Oh, wait, 07. Never mind. That's way too far back. Never mind. I was going to go somewhere with that, but it's
No. Yeah,
not that old.
nothing recent.
I think you know where I'm going.
Well, certainly this is a team
Yeah.
that their
I got you.
their alumni organization is always around and has an opinion, and often those opinions have been heard, have been listened to. You question, as the culture moves away, from the years of Ed Snyder and owning this team, how much that those words actually land. Do they land on deaf ears? But they're at least around, ever present, always having these throwback Thursdays and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if, former players like Clarkey at least get a little say here and there, but nothing like it was.
Absolutely.
So Joe's been guilty of this twice. He says, I wore my Flyers jersey to a Wichita Thunder minor league hockey game. And he said he wore an Eagles jersey to Oklahoma Sooners. Okay, Joe?
That's fully acceptable, though. That's fully acceptable because you're sticking to the sport and you're seeing like a lower division of that sport. So I'm good with that. See another professional team? Come on.
Right. Like me. Like, come on.
Right.
How about a
Fraudulent.
Red Sox fan showing up at Yankee Stadium wearing a Red Sox jersey when the Yankees aren't playing the Red Sox?
That he's just asking for a fight.
Yeah, that guy should be an asshole.
Oh, he got.
He probably got torn apart.
This guy was getting beers thrown at him. Yankee Stadium. Yankee fans are really nasty. I mean, they're as bad as you guys. Really bad. And he was getting the asshole chant the entire game. I mean, it's amazing he lasted.
Right. That reminds me too. That came up in my Facebook memories.
What was going through his
one
head?
of my favorite Sports Center commercials with David Ortiz and with the Yankees hat. He goes, "Oh, let me break this in for you." And the mascot walks by Wally and he drops his papers. And he's like, "Wally, it's not what you think."
That was one of my favorite ones. Far
Who was that catcher? Jorge Posada, right?
The Yankees?
Yeah, that was because he had the straight brimmed hat because he's a catcher. He never wears his hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was Posada.
Posada never had the hat because he wore the classic, helmet with the mask.
Right. So Ortiz is breaking it. He goes, "This doesn't even look like a ball player's hat." I love it. Sorry. I digress.
YouTube it if you don't know what we're talking about.
If you're that, that would be like wearing a Met jersey in Philadelphia to a Philly game when the Phillies are like playing the Pirates or something.
Right.
Same exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why did?
Why would you do that? And it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's a nice face-off win.
I will say though I did love those old Sports Center commercials. I forget who the goalie was, but it was Ovechkin was in the copying room and they were worried that he was stealing secret information. Then one of the Russian goalies from the Capitals was pulling down a line and he had to sneak up through the ceiling. I thought that was pretty funny.
That's
that one.
Right. I do remember that one. Yes.
Do you guys remember?
It might have been Varlamov. I forget who it was who was playing for the Caps at that time.
Do you guys remember the Team Canada Russia Summit Series in '71? Phil Esposito was so paranoid he thought that the Russians were planting mics on him so they could try to steal information, and that was never proven.
Really? No shit. Well, I believe it, man. That was,
they were. They were crazy in that era.
Yeah, exactly.
Why isn't Anaheim forechecking on at all?
Yeah, for sure. Espionage.
I wouldn't put it past the Russians to do that, though.
No.
Guys, unfortunately, we have triggers, I think, for the wrestling side of things. I'm sure they might talk about this in this very ring later on. Jay Briscoe, who was part of the Briscoe Brothers tag team, not the what have you, that not them, but the Briscoes from ROH with the E at the end. Jay Briscoe passed away at 38 years old.
No way.
There's nothing that states what he died of. But yeah, he passed away.
Wonder if he was doing roids.
So thoughts and condolences to the Briscoe family and to his brother, Mark Briscoe, for what happened. Yeah, that's breaking news. Tragic breaking news, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can only wonder. I mean, the Briscoes they're not that type of stature of wrestler. They're more extreme, like common, almost the everyday body. You know what I mean? So, it's got, you think a health issue, but there's been a few deaths in the wrestling world. There's been a lot of deaths. It just in the overall entertainment world, it's like, oof, shame.
There are so many wrestlers who passed way before they should have. Way before. I mean, I think Vince McMahon was feeding a lot of those guys roids like cookies.
Yeah.
And I think that may have been a big problem. I think that hurt. I mean, that who was it? That the Ultimate Warrior. Remember him? Him, Davey Boy Smith.
Sure do.
That list could go on and on.
They
Rick
died of heart disease.
Yeah.
Benny's saying automobile accident.
Yeah. So
he
Benny's
said
actually saying an automobile. Yeah.
And that crazy Canadian crippler guy. Who was his name? You remember the
that
Canadian
was
crippler?
Yeah. Well, Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit, yeah. Oh my God. Him, Dino Bravo. I mean, he got
the mob.
I think Dino Bravo that was a mob hit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He got shot.
Deflection.
And the Ducks did just score, by the way.
All Provy.
Yeah.
Two
up that trade value, Proby. Up that trade value.
Right. Two Anaheim players in front of the net. Provorov takes neither. That's awesome. How's that possible?
He got confused.
Frankie? He did get confused, and then he tried to.
What is it now? 4-2.
Yes.
Yeah. Frank Vetrano got
Under
the goal.
4-2 now with last minute in the third period.
Full Stoli the goalie.
Yeah, Minnesota's still ahead 3-2 over Washington.
Uh-oh. There's a hat on the Kevin Hayes with the empty netter and the hattie.
Oh,
wow.
Kevin Hayes. Yeah. There we go. So hat trick for Kevin Hayes. Congrats. And that's a good feeling right there. And that's a 5-2 victory. Hopefully victory against the Anaheim Ducks. But a 5-2 lead right now. And it is Hayes' first career hat trick. Period.
Really?
Not just as a Flyer, but in the league.
Wow.
It says so right there on the
graphic.
First career hat trick.
I would have thought that he'd have more than one.
Damn it! Right in the middle.
And by the way, the Minnesota Wild have just put the nail in the coffin of the Washington Capitals. So you guys are now 5 points out of the playoffs.
Hey-o.
Hey, lady.
5.
Wait, no, go back to her.
Joe saying Hattie and an all-star. Trade him.
Yeah.
He's having a pretty good year, by the way.
Oh, wow. So
he's having a really good year. Yeah.
So the Flyers have two players with hat tricks for the first time in the same season since 2020-2021. So since Travis Konechny got a hat trick, and that was his first this year, so it's only the second time that's happened in Flyers history. You would think that that would not be the case, but apparently.
For being up
I
5-2,
would have
John
thought that they
Tortorella
would
does
have.
not look happy.
I would have thought that there'd be. I mean, you had a guy like Reggie Leach who scored, 60, 70 goals one year?
Well, he
Like, didn't-
said just the first time since 2021.
Right.
But I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, all right. So in the recent era.
Right.
Well, they
But it's
haven't
only the
exactly
second
had
time
a
ever in
lot of
history.
snipers.
So that's the crazy part of it.
Yeah, this week is ridiculous, man. They were talking about that leading into this week, starting with that back-to-back with the tail end of it was the Buffalo. I think, what was it, Toronto and Buffalo? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And then leading into this week where you have 5 games in 7 days. What the hell is the NHL schedule maker doing?
I don't know. He started off Anaheim with a really rough schedule. I mean, they were on the road 90% of the first 2 months.
Right.
By the way, Ted, you know, you have. I understand that they probably are not making the playoffs, but you can always hope. I mean, if you're a fan, don't you hope your team makes the playoffs? Doesn't that give you an extra reason to watch, to hope that they make the playoffs, or to give it a good run, stay in the hunt.
You want your team to.
I mean, just saying.
There were those who wanted them to tank, so they were kind of looking at it as, why should we make the playoffs? Just be a first round out.
You could be like the 10th or 11th team in from the bottom, and still get a first round pick. I mean, the Rangers, I think, were 12th, and they ended up getting the first pick. Who else?
Yeah.
Didn't Edmonton get the first round pick when they were 8th? When they were 8th from the bottom, when they got McDavid. That was the year they got McDavid. I think they picked.
You're right.
They were 8
You're
from
right.
the bottom, and they ended up winning the lottery.
Yep, I remember that.
The hell is Jones getting a penalty for?
Elbowing.
Elbowing.
God.
I mean, it'd be nice if Valley actually would show the replay so I know exactly what the hell is going on. And they're not going to show the replay. All right, that's fine.
They didn't show it on us.
To win.
Except the refs.
I know it's probably smarter to lose, but I can't stand when the Flyers lose, so it's always better when they win.
We talked about this briefly. I know you don't want to make the playoffs, Ted, but they can still play really, really good hockey and still miss the playoffs. This is only going to build to something better for next year, especially once they get some of these bigger contracts and older players out of the way. And they can actually do something in free agency.
Absolutely. Plus, your
all
kids are
right,
getting a
so
year of
that will go
experience.
tonight. The Flyers with a win, 5-2 over the Anaheim Ducks. A big victory for the Flyers, at least maybe for us, to even up the show's own little battle between them and last year. The Flyers. So that means a rubber match is due somewhere down the line. We'll have to wait and see if that's next year or somewhere else.
No,
All we gotta do is even up that against the Rangers, and then we'll be all good to go, all evened out then.
You swept us.
When do we play you guys again? Do we only have 3 games against you?
No. I mean broad. No, not for the season. I mean when we've been broadcasting, because we broadcasted the first time ever. Ducks versus Flyers on the show last year.
Okay, I got you.
This year,
I got you.
Yeah.
You keep track of that?
Yeah. So, well, only because it's not like it's happened a bunch of times, you know?
I can't even tell you how many times they've... I'm just saying I couldn't tell you how many times Ducks have beaten you guys in the last 2 years, let alone going all the way back to what, 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago now.
That's why.
Oh no, I
that's
don't
why
remember
Maddie's.
every single time.
That's
Yeah,
why they
Rock.
call Maddie the professor, the hockey professor. Man, he's a historian by
Seriously.
nature.
Wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
That was an interesting game because the Flyers were hopefully going to rebound. They took another tough loss to the Sharks, but they always lose to the Sharks for some reason. Except this year. I don't know why. A year where we're not going to make the playoffs and they beat the Sharks. A year we're competing for a playoff spot and we get our asses kicked by the Sharks. And the Sharks would be a last lose. However,
Well, the Sharks,
with the Ducks,
last
it's a little
couple of
weird.
years,
It's like sometimes
the
we win,
Sharks the
sometimes
last
we
couple of
lose.
years have been bad.
Well, yeah, but still, it doesn't matter.
See, I know I want to jump back to something we talked about last week when we're doing our little recap here. The one thing I want to see the Flyers do, and I kind of understand why they're not doing it, but I want to see what Sam Ersson does against a top-tier team. We're seeing him play really, really good goaltending against some of the poorer teams in the NHL. And like I said before, as with each game, he's getting stronger. He had a really strong game again tonight against Anaheim. I want to see what he does against a top-tier team because people are going to be clamoring for this guy to be the starter over Hart until he shows what he really is. I would I've rather seen him play against Boston and get smoked. Yeah. Then we start to get an idea of who this kid really is. Like, I get these games are confidence builders, and they should be because Anaheim is a terrible team, especially offensively. You saw that tonight. But I want to see what he does against a top-tier team, a team that's actually going to challenge him.
Well, you do. Torts wants to bring him along slowly, obviously, so that's why he's doing that. And he doesn't want him to get kicked in the teeth and lose his confidence. I think that's probably.
But he needs to get his teeth kicked in at some point.
Yeah, but you'd at least like him to have like a nice a nice platform before it happens. Have
he was
like
forced back into that game.
Have like 6 or 7 wins under your belt before you get your brains knocked in.
Yeah, but he was better when he came back into that game than when he got knocked out of that game. That's when he was pouring guys' teeth kicked in. But potentially, what if you start him March 1st, the Flyers' lone game remaining against the New York Rangers? See how he performs in that game like that.
Yeah, I mean, I could. I'd rather see it sooner than later because I want to see if this kid can ride the confidence into a game of that caliber against a team like Carolina, Toronto, Boston, LA, or he's done with. You guys are done with LA. Some of these top tier, these playoff teams, these cup contenders. I want to see what this kid can really do in a highly volatile situation. Now that he has this confidence, now that he's been in a handful of games, this is his 6th game, and he's played outstanding since the Carolina game. But let's see if he can ride that confidence into a tough opponent, and then start him in the next game and see how he rebounds. This is all things if he wants to be an NHL goalie, he's got to learn to do this shit eventually. Why not do it now? Give Carter Hart a couple of days off. Let Ersson start the next game. And then go from there.
Let's take a look at the Flyers week. They're not really playing for the rest of the week. They're not playing high caliber teams. They're playing the Blackhawks, which we are. I will not insult the Red Wings. Like the Red Wings have been trying, so the Red Wings could be a frustrating team to play against. The Jets have been pretty good.
Jets are really good.
The Kings, that's yeah. So maybe have him play against the Jets. See,
that would be a good test for him. The Jets this year are.
I know they're a Western Conference team.
Yeah, but they're really.
It doesn't
good,
matter.
though.
For me, it doesn't matter. We talked about it last week. We have the potential of a really good goalie tandem here, and in order for this to really flourish into something that could be really good for them, it could potentially get to that special point down the road. He's got to play against these top-tier teams. I'm tired of seeing him play these bottom-tier teams. We know what's going to happen. He's going to look good, more than likely.
Right.
He's got to play against some of these top-tier teams. I agree. With you, Maddie, I agree with Brad. I agree with Benny. Start him against the Jets. See what happens. See what you have. You can't hold his hand forever. He's got to take the reins at some point.
That would be a very good test for him. The Jets surprised. I'm surprised about the Jets as anybody, but the Jets can score this year, and they're playing really good defense. I mean,
Right.
if it wasn't for Linus Olmark, you'd be talking about Hellebuck for a possible Vizina. That's how good he's been.
No, that's true. And he's
And,
been that way for the past few seasons.
Yeah, and they still have Connor. They still have Sheffield. I mean,
Right.
that team is a real good team now.
Right.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is playing very, very well at this point too. So
Right. To Jay's point,
that would be a. I mean, I
true.
saw them on Friday night. Crush the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. So
right.
they're playing at a very high level right now.
Yeah, to Jay's point right there, I didn't want to interrupt you boys before. That leading up to that shutout against Buffalo, we had a great game against the Kings, which we talked about them being a potential pretender a few shows back as well. They were off to a good start and they were kind of slipping back towards the mean of the league, but still, as Jay writes, 931 save percentage, 27 to 29 saves. Harrison is playing well and definitely a guy that Torts likes a lot.
Mm-hmm. As he should.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see here. Anthony's saying, DB, what happened if Harrison plays a good game and beats that team? And the Flyers fans and even fake fans would want him to replace Carter Hart and blow it up by fans screaming about Carter Hart to be traded. That's even if Harrison plays well against a good team, you still don't have him replace Hart. You just have him show that, okay, chips down and he's got to play a really tough team, then he can handle it. That's the main thing. You want to see if Earson's got the confidence to go up against one of the tougher teams in the league. Like, he didn't play Boston yesterday. Hart did. And that's not a couple of bad goals he gave up. But you know what? Let's be honest here. The Flyers played like shit against Boston yesterday. And that played like shit against Boston yesterday. And everybody knows that. So it's not really one person's fault that the whole team played like garbage. If Ersson had been in goal, I can guarantee you the same result would have probably happened. If the team playing like crap, yeah, I don't care how hard Ersson would have played. Even if he lost only by 4-0, doesn't matter. He still lost, and he still got his ass kicked at the end of the day. So again, we gotta see if he can handle himself against these teams. You know what I mean? And can he handle a situation like Boston? Can he handle a situation like the Rangers? Or like even if he can, he's still not getting replaced by Hart, because if a team plays like crap in front of him, is that really a guarantee Erson's going to be able to win a game single-handedly for the Flyers? We don't know that. We have no clue. So again,
You're going to see.
I don't
he's
think
going to get his chance.
should flirt with that at this point. He will.
I didn't see the
I'm not
Boston
saying he
game.
won't.
I didn't see the Boston game, but
from
what I understand, the effort was there for the most part. They just couldn't figure out a way to beat Swayman, and Swayman just had a really good game. But to jump on to Anthony's point here, I don't think there's going to be a situation because I think they're gonna want to run two. I agree with Eric's comment here. What's wrong with having two good goalies? That's listen. If things really fall into place for the Flyers with this goaltending tandem, just good things come from this. Good things come from this. This is why I want to see him play a top-tier team. This is why I want to see him play a team like Toronto, Winnipeg, Colorado, some of these other really good teams, so you can really see what you have. That's the important thing here. I'm not worried about the win, the loss, this, that, or the other. I just want to see how he holds himself against some of these top teams. Now, the Boston game last night was a shit show. Many teams going into the TD Bank right now, it's a shit show for them because they are the toughest team to play on their own ice. Their record proves it. They're like 34-4 and
Right.
how many games they play? Regardless, they have like 3 losses on home ice so far this season. They're ridiculous at home. So I'm not, but you take that game and just fucking throw it away. Doesn't matter. With this goaltending tandem moving forward,
Right.
it's going to be a blessing in disguise. And I think he's going to get the Flyers to the playoffs sooner if they can really put the support in front. Tonight was a great example of the Flyers supporting Urson. Do they need to do it with Hart a little bit more? Absolutely. But this is why you got to throw Urson into some of these tougher games, because then you can get Hart a little bit of pressure off of him, and he can relax and play some of these other teams and get his confidence back. I think that's a lot of what's going on with him right now is he's hit or miss because he's not getting some of these easier games. He's not playing some of these bottom tier teams where he can be like, all right, last night I can shake off. Let me get the start on this one. Anaheim should be a sure thing. He didn't get the call tonight mainly because of the back-to-back, but I think you guys know what I'm trying to get at here. You need some of these confidence-building games that he's not getting because they're all going to Urson.
True. Yeah.
Right.
You do need to start them consecutively.
Right. And I forgot. Go ahead, Rob.
You do need to get him some consecutive starts. And the only thing that I'll disagree with you, Brian, real quick, and then I'll kick it back to you, Maddie, is that you can't throw the game away entirely, because there was a point where the Bruins were up 4-0, and I think Flyers got a goal made it 4-1, and it was the fourth and fifth goal that Carter let up were stoppable. I saw that quit a little bit, and I didn't like that. So as much as I'm going to suck on the Tina Carter Hart, I definitely got to point out something negative that I saw there. That was a little bit of last year where it was like his confidence was shot, and I saw a little quit in his game, giving up the softy goals. But up until then, yes, you're playing the best team in the NHL, and Pasta was cooking.
Yeah. Good, Maddie.
So, yeah, and I forgot that Jay did bring up that good point, like you were talking about, Rob, that Hart did get yanked and Yerson came in halfway through. But Dylan was also saying, what's going on, boys? Hope all is well. Agree to the poll. So what's going on?
Yeah, it was the fourth. Yeah,
Anthony
the fourth
also
goal.
went on to say there's nothing wrong about having two.
Yeah.
Right. And Anthony was saying there is nothing wrong about having two good goalies, and I want to see Hart get some competition, but I don't want to see the same situation with Hurts and Wentz where everyone hammered Wentz. That fans are going. That's the sad part of it. It's Philadelphia. Fans find things to complain about when there's nothing to complain about. The Flyers could be in the right now, and they'll still find something to bitch about. They will still find some way to complain about or something, because Philadelphia fans are never satisfied. And I'll be honest with you, I get a little bit of it because it's not exactly like the Flyers are swimming in cups. We only have the 2, and we haven't had it since 75. So, yes, I get that angle of it, but then the other angle of it is that people are just so down on the disaster to come down at the other end of the road. It's just waiting for it. And they're going to point to that moment that they complained about because he had that one bad game. So that tells you everything you need to know about the guy. One bad game, and that's it. His career is over. He fucking blows ass. It's like, sure. Remind me again. In between that one bad game and then the disaster that happened there, daily great. Did no numbers? Did he not put up results? So, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the guys a great player. The disaster happened. But was it just him, or was it the team? There's the other angle you got to take from it. Team plays like shit. Don't matter who you got in net. You know, but fans are going to do that. That's what they do. That's it. Very, very easy. We see it all the time. Like you say, with Hurts and Wentz. Eagles fans are so guilty of that. But Flyers fans are guilty of it too. It's just Philadelphia fans. They're guilty of it all the fucking time.
I'm kind of going to disagree with you there, Matty. The one part that I'm going to agree with is, yeah, you're not going to make every fan happy. But here's the thing. Like, football and hockey is two completely different situations here. Football, you have your starter. That's it. He's going to play all 17 games. And that's how it should be. Hockey, you can run two good goaltenders and be in a good situation. The question is going to always be, well, how many starts is Urson going to get over Hart if the situation turns out to be really good that, you know, Urson winds up being the guy that we think he is, or that everybody else thinks he is. You know,
you play the hot hand.
Right. You play the hot hand. And
that's what you do.
Sometimes it could be Hart. Sometimes it could be Urson. We don't know. But, you know, more of my story is, you know, you have to see what you have here. And a lot of that times is you got to put them in tough situations. You can't give them the easy situation every time. If it winds up being some kind of competition, could be good. You could bring out the best in Hart. Could bring out the best in Urson. They could really bounce off of each other. And next thing you know, you have two potential starters, one franchise guy, one guy you could possibly trade off eventually and get some picks for, or get some good shit back for in a return. But in the meantime, there's no controversy here. You need to have a tandem. Look at some of the teams that are having success. You have I know you have your cup contenders that have your elite franchise guy. You know, you have your Tampas. You have, I guess you could throw Colorado in the mix. I think Toronto's biggest Achilles heel right now is their goaltending. They had good goaltending last year, and Jack Campbell let them go. But you want to get back to the playoffs and you build off of stuff, got to have a good tandem. Look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a really good tandem, won back-to-back cups. I understand you're not going to make every fan happy with that situation, but it is what it is. Like, the fans really have no say in this. It is what it is. The Flyers are in a very good situation with the tandem. It's not going to be a situation like with the Eagles. It's just not going to be. It can't be. Because what else are you going to have? You're just going to stick with Hart or Urson and then have a shitty goaltender backing them up where you're probably going to lose every 3 or 4 games? It can't be that way if you want to be a successful hockey team in the league that we're in right now. It just can't.
No, you need your backup goalie to win games. To be able to win games.
Right.
You know, I mean, the Rangers were in that situation before
Halak finally started playing well. Really going to need your backup goalie then.
That's a good point.
You
They're
can't
talk about that in the offseason
every game.
They shouldn't.
Right. I mean, some goalies are weird though, where there are some goalies out there, and they are very rare, that are like, say, Patrick Waugh. He wants to play every game. It's like, fuck it, I don't want my backup goalie to play. I want to play every game. But that's a very rare thing, and plus also Patrick Waugh was a very rare player. You don't get that. That was kind of they're not. Those are once in a generation talents right there. In the end, you need your backup goaltender, and if you have a strong tandem, we've already seen examples of teams that have survived with strong tandems and have thrived under that. I think it was last week I talked about the Blues. The Blues survived with Elliott and Allen for years, and there was never a debate on, well, who's the Blues starter? You mean starters. They have 2. Because you never know if Allen that doesn't matter. Point is, they both carried their fair share of the load, and the Blues were a playoff team every year. And they were a cup contender for a period of time. Ironically, wasn't until they weren't a cup contender they went on their magic run. But the point is that period top teams in the league, and they didn't need a number 1 true starter. They made the you want a star like? Yes, they're both starter like, and it worked. But you still need goaltending at the end of the day. Let's see here. Eileen said, "Good evening, gentlemen. How y'all doing?" Good evening, Eileen. Happy to hear you.
What's up, Eileen? How you doing, Mama?
And let's see.
The kiddo's doing good.
Yeah, for
Jay
real.
was saying that I was right, though. Yeah. But Jay was saying that I was making great do a fucking negative.
What's it does?
Eileen also says that hockey players are sexy. And by the way, I just saw the end of the Maple Leafs and Packs at the very tail end there.
Did you see that goal that? Did you see the goal that?
Eric,
What's his name?
saying,
scored? The
yes.
guy. That was some move across the net.
It was nice.
I'll tell you what. That was a pretty goal. I think it was.
It was.
It was who was it? Niedermeyer? No, not Niedermeyer. What I'm saying? No, I can't remember his name. The one that starts with an N. I just can't remember what his name is.
Nylander.
Yeah. Nylander. Yeah. He's the one that scored. That was a nice play. Cut across the net on his forehand. He cut all the way across the net and just beat the goalie to the far post and put it in.
Right, on a penalty shot. In case anyone.
Yeah, I was busy watching John Tortorella's press conference on mute. It's just as entertaining. His facial expressions are priceless.
His press conferences are always great. Somebody would ask him a question. That's a stupid question. Let's move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have a smart question to ask?
No,
what did
for
he say?
done.
Yeah.
No,
what do you say
okay,
about
I'm
the
done.
All-Star game? I don't give a shit about that. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
No iPads.
Well, first of all, hey, I love that. I absolutely love that. That he took the iPads away because it keeps them in the moment, and then they're not worried about what had just happened. You can do all the video stuff after the game. You can go back, review all that stuff after the game. Stay in the moment. I love it. It's keeping the technology off the bench, less of a distraction, and it keeps the guys in the moment. And
Yeah,
I think that's
and
why you're
also-
starting to see him really pick the pace up.
Yeah, I think most of the time you see guys on the iPad
And let's see here.
is when they score a goal, they want to take a look at themselves scoring the goal. I think that's what they like to see. At least from a Ranger fan view, that's what whenever I see them score, whenever a guy scores, like a couple of minutes later, what they show them on the bench with the iPad. It's always the guy who scored that has the iPad, and they're obviously looking at their goal.
Hot dog.
Diggity dog. All right. Listen, out of the gate, back-to-back seasons with Sandstrom was an automatic loss.
let's see,
Sandstrom won
Jay
6
saying-
this season, playing those same Leicester teams. Erston is 5-0.
Yeah. I think he definitely usurped Sandstrom with this positive play. Yeah.
Yeah, Sandstrom, he got battered. So, I think right now the pecking order is Hart, Erson, at this of where we're looking at pecking order-wise. Eileen saying thank you very much. He's getting back to his normal mouthy 13-year-old self, so that's good news. Thanks, guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's good news to hear. Say that he's excited about this team, and a good draft will change everything.
Totally
There's
agree.
a lot of talent already here to build around.
Then Mark, what's up, Mark? Earson looking good.
Mark, my guy.
Right.
Yeah, well, to Rob's point here, I love where this team is talent-wise. Like, I know a lot of teams are going to sit there and say, oh, there's no talent on this team. I think they're beginning to, say otherwise. Noah Cates is turning into a solid middle sixth player, in my opinion. That kid just works hard every night. Carter Gauthier is going to be a stud. Bobby Brink is going to possibly be a stud. I want to see him play a little bit more and how he rebounds off this injury first. But I think he's going to be a stud. Defensively, I still think they need a little bit more in the pipeline defensively. What's his name? Oddard, I think, has proven to be possibly a bottom six or a third pairing, possibly seventh defenseman. Who's the one kid? Oh, Zamula is looking like he could be a third pairing defenseman. There's definitely guys here. Sanheim is going to be your top four guy. He's going to be your second pairing guy for the future. And I think Vrissa is going to be there for the remainder of his contract. You got to find a top tier guy to go with York, because I don't think Provy makes it out this year. And then D'Angelo's probably got he's probably going to be out after his contract. So you got to fill the pipeline, I think, defensively. I think that's the only weak spot right now. But yeah, with a good draft, I think this team makes the playoffs not next year, but the year after.
That's very logical. I think that you're probably right on with that.
Logic isn't my strong suit, so I'm going to take that as a compliment there, right?
Ted saying we have a lot of awesome role players, no stars besides Hart, but we're not a cup team.
That's true. And I agree with what Ted is saying there. Like, there's no star. There's no superstar on this roster. But teams like Carolina are showing you don't need that superstar. Colorado's full of superstars, so they're a bad example. But if you look at who won the cup before them, if you look at St. Louis Blues in 2019, they have no superstar.
What about Tarasenko? He's pretty darn good.
He's darn good. I won't call him a superstar. I call him a star.
Okay, he's not.
He's a good player.
Not McDavid, but he's pretty good though.
No, he's definitely good. I'm not taking anything away from Tarasenko, but I'm just saying, he's not a superstar. He's not like, I can't even use him because he's a bad example because he's on his own level, and that's Alex Ovechkin. But if you look at TJ Oshie, superstar. Nicholas Backstrom, superstar. Nathan McKinnon, superstar. Cale Makar, superstar. Who won before them? Why am I blanking on who won the cup before them? Look at Pittsburgh when they went back-to-back. Evgeny Malkin, superstar. Sidney Crosby, superstar. I'm blanking on the last 3 years.
Chris Letang.
Tampa Bay's full of superstars.
Tampa Bay,
yeah.
So Kucherov, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like
Kucherov and Stamkos.
Mm-hmm.
Back
to back. Hedman.
They're loaded.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, they're doing a great job without them. They got a bunch of stars. Like Sebastian Aho is a star. Andrei Svechnikov is a star. But you don't necessarily need that. You just need one really big star caliber player that's going to get you 30, 40 goals a year. And then you just build with solid players around them. And then you're going to be a consistent playoff team.
On Carolina, right?
Yeah.
He would qualify as that guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would put Andrei Svechnikov over him right now. Svech is having a fucking outstanding year for the Hurricanes. I think he's on pace for 50. I think he's on pace for like 52 goals this year.
If he continues at his present rate, you're right.
And at 23 years old.
Yeah, no, they got a good young team.
Mm-hmm. And the Flyers got some of the pieces in place. You just got to find.
You just got to let them play.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You got to let them play, and you got and young players get better. Old players do not.
Oh goodness, Eileen.
Saying what's up, boy? And he's also saying I agree to the poll.
What up, Willie?
True story.
And then Eileen is very much on point here with this comment of Crosby wears women's panties.
That's
and you know what? And back it up real quick there. That's big coming from Wilson, who's always, as I've known, is always a big Provy guy when he was coming up when I produced their show for those years. And he agrees to that poll. Tonight's poll. I mean, that there's a lot of proof to that pudding.
Absolutely. And Jay Harrison said Emil Andre. That's the kid I was thinking of that could be a really good good defensive prospect for the Flyers
Yep.
moving forward.
Yep.
As he does say, leads D-men, all D-men in scoring at the World Juniors last year. All right, then, gentlemen, let's see here. And the first period, Flyers ultimately get the win on the Ducks 5-2 with an empty netter and hat trick goal for Kevin Hayes, his first of his career, to match Travis Konechny's first earlier on in this season. So 2 first-time hat tricks for the Flyers this year for the first time since the 2020-21 season. And now, gentlemen, we go on to the second period. But before we dive into the second period, I want to talk to everybody about if you are looking to buy or sell a home, or you're looking for a change of career or brokerage, then you want to contact Alan Foy at eXp Realty LLC. You call him at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Take that from one home to the change of career. Make sure you do it right. Alan Foy, exprealty.com. Talk to him and he'll take care of you. And also, the comments for today, as always, love the fam. You guys are the lifeblood of A2D. We would be nothing without you. You guys are, as always, brought to you by Gleason's Bar, located at 6700 Mill Creek Ave, Levittown, PA. Use the promo code A2D for 10% off your order when you dine in and take up. You can find it at Gleason's.com if you're in the Levittown area. Gleason's Bar is where you want to go for that. All right, guys, second period time. NHL trade deadline. That is on the horizon, and Edmonton just retook the lead in their game against Seattle. But trade deadline will be there March 3rd, and there's always going to be the rumor mill rolling around, so it's time to talk about it, guys. And I do believe we have a game to play, do we not, Brian?
Yeah, so the way I want to kind of do this is, how do we say we're going to do this? Trade rumors? So here's what I want to do. Instead of just making a game, I have 5 players here, and I think it's pretty much the same 5 players that we're all going to have, because it's essentially the top 5 players on the trade bait list. And I guess the way we can make it a game is not only do we give who we want, but we can also predict where they're going, which I think could make for a fun game.
I dig it.
Okay.
I like it.
All right, so I got 5 guys here. All right, so here's the rules real quick again, Maddie. So I'm going to give you the name of the player, and then we're going to decide whether or not we want them on our list. And obviously, if we do, cool. If not, no worries. But we're also going to want to predict where they're going to go. So,
okay.
So if I say Patrick Kane, yes or no on your trade bait list. Also, where does he go? You can even say, all right, I think Patrick Kane's going to the Rangers, but before so I'm gonna exclude Patrick Kane from this. And the reason why I'm excluding Patrick Kane from this is because of his injury.
He's already back.
They're saying that he might sign a 1-year deal just to kind of get his trade value back up.
Well, he's already back, by the way. He played yesterday and he scored.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I read this article.
As a matter of fact, I think he got 2 and he's up to 7 goals now.
Hey,
And
more than the 5 that he had last week.
5.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, but he's got 29 points in 36 games, though.
True.
And I just had Chicago on for a little bit, just watching them. They really stink. They're atrocious. I've never seen a team that doesn't even bother to play defense. I mean, some teams at least fake it. They don't even fake it. They just, they're always trying to score all the time, and they have nobody to put the puck in the net.
True that. All right, boys. Here's how we're gonna do this. So I have the top 5 of the trade bait list. and I have the
My
three
prediction is
main
Patrick
guys for the
goes to the
Flyers.
Ducks.
So we'll have 8 guys total for this. So we're going to do the top 5. We're going to do Kevin Hayes, Ivan Provorov,
All right.
and JVR. So we're going to say for those 3, we're going to predict where they're going to go. All right. So with number 5,
Okay.
keep in mind, this is also my trade bait wish list. So we're going to go from here. So number 5, I have Vancouver Canucks young winger, Andrei Kuzmenko. They're having stalls on the contract negotiations. I'm hearing that they may be willing to ship him out. 42 games this year, 17 goals, 21 assists, 48 points. He's got +2 on the year, and he's got 10 power play points. 2 questions. Do you want him?
Who wouldn't? Okay.
I of course would want him, but I don't. I think he's the one that stays in Vancouver as they
Why would they trade him?
Like
I don't
that.
want him.
So I don't. I would not have him on like a player that's going to be available.
Okay, fair enough. They want to extend him. Apparently, negotiations aren't going well. Same
Sure.
situation with Pasternak. So,
Sure. That is
Maddie, what are
true.
you saying? Yeah.
Well, I would want him. Where would he go? You know, he goes to another Canadian team. You know what? I'm just going to throw it out there for the hell of it. I'm going to say he goes to the Flames. Why? Because irony. That's why. It'd be funny as hell.
Dylan would like that.
Yeah, I think he just went 6 to midnight.
For you, Dylan.
I don't blame him. I mean, I would. The kid's good. The kid's going to be a really solid player in the NHL.
And do you know what his cap hit is?
And I think he's on his rookie deal.
Yeah, it's 950,000.
Yeah.
I think they can afford that.
31 teams in the league. All 31 teams in the league will want him.
And then he's probably going to wind up jumping from 950 to he'll probably be between the 3.5, 4.5, maybe 5 mil range. Not terrible for a young kid who's putting up really good numbers despite a shitty season for Vancouver. In quite frankly, an offensive system set up to score goals. So under Bruce Boudreau. All right, number 4. We're going to stick with the Vancouver Canucks here. We talked about him briefly earlier. It's going to be Brock Besser. We kind of ran off his stats a little bit earlier, but for those who missed it, 35 games so far for Vancouver, 9 goals, 17 assists, 26 points. He's got a -10 on the ice. So whatever he's doing isn't working defensively. He's got 6 power play points. What are we doing with Brock Besser?
I'll take him. I think I know where he's going to go.
Where do you think he's going, Brad?
Colorado.
Okay, that's not a bad guess. I like that. He'd be a good fit there. Robbie.
I think Colorado wants another goal scorer, and he'd be a good fit there.
They're linked to a lot of people. The Colorado Avalanche has been linked to quite a few people.
Yeah, I know, but they're gonna get somebody, and I think that he might be the one.
Besser, Horvat, or Taves is the 3 names that big names I've heard connected to Colorado.
Yeah, I don't see Taves because Taves is gonna cost too much money, and he's old. I don't think he's the right fit in there. I think Besser is the right fit because he can skate and he likes to shoot, and they've got a lot of guys that can pass the puck extremely well. So I think he'd be a good fit there.
I don't disagree. Robbie, what are you thinking about it?
With Besser, I think they try to move him, but it's going to be difficult to move that contract. I was just looking that up. He's a $6.65 million cap hit, and the lack of production is down to this
three-man trade, Rob. 3-team trade, Rob.
Yeah, that could make sense because you talk about the ability to re-sign them. The Canucks, all they could offer is probably what they offered JT Miller. Would he get 7 years, 55, 56 million, something like that. That's about as high as they could go with the current cap structure now. That could go up, that could change things. But I think they try to move Besser but can't. I think Horvat's the one that goes.
Okay. Okay. I like it. Matty, what are you thinking, brother?
Too high a contract and his production's down. I would probably say no, because it's like I'm not paying a high salary on my cap if he can't produce me anything. It's like, why? He's failing in the system of his line function. That's the only thing that would give me pause on that. If he had a lower cap hit, I would say, okay, let's take a chance on him, see what he's got. But it's too high for me. But where he's going, let me see here. Yeah, preparing him with the Paul Heyman. Let me see. How much was his contract again? It was 6, right?
6.65, you said, Robbie?
6.65.
It's going to take a 3-team trade again.
I mean, keep in mind, Vancouver is probably going to be willing to eat some of the money to get some of these guys off the books. Wow, Brock has 3 years left on his contract.
Oh, that is something that could be.
Right.
Now, here's something I'm not sure about, guys. I know. These 3-team trades. Are you technically allowed to, like, say it's a $6 million contract? Can you eat $3 million and find another team to eat the other $3 million? I
don't think you can do that.
Draft pick, something like along those lines.
I think if you're going to retain any salary, every team has up. What is it, like up to 50% of the salary or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
In any one deal. So if it's a 3-team deal, I think the rules still apply. It's still just 50%.
All right, got it. So if they found another team, they could retain 25%, and another team could take 25%, and obviously be compensated with like a second-round pick or something along those lines.
Possibly, I'm not 100% sure.
No, the Rangers did that with Mark Stahl when they got rid of him. They made
Right.
Detroit made them give up a second-round pick just so that they would take him.
Now, if you're Vancouver, you could hold on to Besser past the trade deadline and move him in the offseason when you have more cap maneuverability and maybe a potential retain some of the salary in order to move him. And there had been some talks I'm reading here with the Rangers. Now, you were saying that they were sort of doubting Lafreniere. There could be a little bit of talking of that variety as well going on.
Yeah, but Lafreniere is only making $975,000.
Right. It would have to work a deal, like I said, where they would retain cap, with a lot more. They're generally going to have more maneuverability in the offseason, no matter what happens, if it retains as a flat cap. But there's talk that, they were supposed to raise before the pandemic happened, and that could happen as soon as this offseason.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the key, because here's the thing with the Rangers, where it's going to be tough for them. They're going to have to re-sign Keandre Miller. That's gonna cost some money.
Sure.
Okay. Lafreniere also is a restricted free agent. They're still gonna have to pay him, even if it's only a couple of million. It's still gonna cost them a little extra money to keep him around.
Right.
So it's not like they don't have guys that they have to pay. And also Philip Beadle is also is going to be a restricted free agent, so they got to pay him too.
Right.
And I mean, he's probably like a $2.5-3 million player. I don't know. He's 12 goals and 10 assists. So at this point,
I would say,
season, what do you think he gets paid if he continues this rate? Probably 19, 20 goals and maybe a 40-point player. At 23 years old. How much money do you think you're gonna? I mean, they'd have to give him another bridge deal. How much do you think they'd have to pay him?
$4 to $6 million per year.
Yeah, probably. That's what I'm saying. I don't know that they can do Besser.
Right. Gotcha.
Or Horvat. I don't think that they can.
Gotcha.
Maddie?
Say, after looking at a few of the teams I was looking at, A team that may be somewhat interested in him may be able to use his services in terms of offense. As long as the Canucks are willing to eat some of the salary, say they're able to eat half in 3 minutes. Say the Islanders, the other New York team instead of the Rangers.
Ooh, I like that.
They
actually.
need goal scoring bad. They're not scoring enough goals right now, that team.
If he can produce, Vancouver's willing to, if he can produce for them and they're willing to eat half the salary to make that work.
I'll give you another team that would work for Dallas Stars. They need some more goal scoring. I mean, they're a top defensive team, but I don't think they score enough. I think in the playoffs they're gonna lose again because they just don't score enough.
Dallas isn't a terrible option to land a 25-year-old either. I got to look at something real quick.
No, they're cup content. They're in a win now situation right now. I mean,
My only
they don't have to
concern
pay
with Dallas,
Robertson.
though,
They don't have to pay Jason Robertson right now. I mean, they're really in a pretty good situation. Other than Jamie Benn, who's really making a lot of money on that team?
Tyler Seguin.
Okay, so that's two guys.
Sagan's
I
actually
forgot
making
about him.
more.
Sagan, I forgot about Sagan because I haven't seen him on the score sheet that much anymore.
Robertson is making 7.75.
Is he making that much?
He's on his pro deal now. Yeah, he's on his
I
second
didn't
contract.
realize that.
Radek Fakta is making some good money. So is Mason Marchment. Mason Marchment's making 4.5.
I think they have a max cap space of it's under 700K.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be hard. The Islanders could get it up to $4 million now.
They could. I think the Islanders are going to be the best option, especially considering now I'm looking at the defenseman for Dallas. 8.45 for Miro Heiskanen, 5.8 for Esa Lindell, sorry, and then 3.6 for Ryan Sutter.
I didn't realize. I didn't realize they were that close to the cap.
Yeah,
I think it could be a good fit.
I didn't realize it either.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that's not going to happen then. Not if they only have $700,000 to work with. That's impossible.
Yeah, because I was Dallas while I was at the other teams, and honestly, I thought while Dallas could use more offense, I didn't only have this from an angle of Vancouver's going to eat some salary and get rid of him. To me, it just seemed like the only team that the other teams I looked up was Carolina, like their cap space. I looked up the Kings, and then I finally said, you know what? Let's look at the Islanders, and then I looked at the Islanders. If they ate some of that, the Islanders could conceivably make that work.
What about the Devils? Don't they have some cap space? I mean,
I don't know if they're going to be willing to part with what they need to part with.
I was going to think of the Devils, but I wasn't sure.
Devils have 1.7 available.
I would think they've got some. I mean, most of the team is really young, so
actually they have 0.
They have 0, really?
They have no cap space.
Huh, okay.
They have no cap space at all.
They have no grade point average.
They did sign some big contracts.
Oh, I forgot. You know what? Because I kept thinking they don't have to pay Subban anymore.
No, well, you got Jack Hughes and Nico Herscher on their second deals. Jack's making $8 million. You got Nico Herscher making 7.25. Andre Palat just signed at $6 million a year.
Dougie Hamilton too.
Yeah, Jesper Bratt's on a $5 million contract. Thomas Tatar's on a $4.5 million contract. You have Dougie Hamilton at $9 million a year. Damon Severson's at 4.1. Ryan Grace is on 3.1.
I thought Hughes was still on his first contract.
Nah.
Okay, so they didn't go bridge deal with him. They went straight to the big extension. Then, all right.
Yep, and then Dawson Mercer is another guy you got to worry about signing in 2 years, because he's going to be an RFA after next season.
Yeah, he's a good player too.
Yes, I like Dawson Mercer. He's really good.
I
And then,
can't stand him, but that doesn't mean that he's not good. I just because I don't like anybody that's good on another team. So
And then you have Siegenthaler too, who's making 1.125 this year, and then he jumps up to 3.4 next year. So I mean, I like the Islanders situation, honestly. I think that might be one of their best bets for Brock Besser.
Who's next on your list?
Next on my list,
Nice.
this is gonna be a fun one to talk about. Arizona Coyotes defenseman Jacob Chikrin. 27 games played this year, 5 goals, 17 assists for 22 points. He's a +7 on the ice. And he's also got 5 power play points in those 27 games so far.
he's unrestricted after this year, is he not?
I believe he is. I'm going to
So
look
he's
that up
a
while you guys answer.
a pure rental, and he's not making a lot this year, right?
I'll
He
tell
is.
you in one
I think
second.
he is. I'm looking it up now too. Yeah, he's making $4 million. $4 million this year, and he's under contract for 2 more seasons, 4.4. And then the last year of the deal is $6 million, and then he's an unrestricted free agent
Well, that's
in 25, 26.
Oh, okay, but that's a bargain for him.
Yep.
$4 million. Yeah, a team like
That's a bargain for him.
There's been some talk with the Oilers. We mentioned that they're potential team that might be interested in Provorov. They're just interested in defense in general. Unfortunately, they just don't have it like the
There's
they
no way they
might be up against a salary cap that where it couldn't fit. You know what I mean? They'd have to maybe go for a lower salary guy. Same thing with the Minnesota Wild, but a team that could afford them is a team that was supposed to be good, is struggling, and may want to save face. That's the Ottawa Senators. They might be a dark horse for Jacob Chikrin.
Oh, I like that. That wasn't where I was thinking, but I like that. I'm thinking a team like Detroit. Detroit still has some cap space. They have the flexibility to do it. They have young guys that they can send back for Jacob Chikrin. I think Detroit could be a team that's linked to him, especially after the blasphemy, or I shouldn't say blasphemy. That terrible signing that they signed Ben Sherratt to.
It's true.
Ooh,
Let's see
I'm not going to mention this now. You might have these guys later on your list, Brian, but I think there's better identifiable defensemen that Edmonton could go for and afford.
The forward I probably have on my list. Defenseman, that's the only defenseman I actually have on my list, believe it or not. So go ahead, man.
Yeah. There's been some legit conversation with the Sharks for Erik Karlsson.
Oh, true that.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I
but
could
he's
absolutely
making a
see
ton of money,
that.
though.
Yep.
But that's going
Is
to be
he?
another. Yeah, he's still making his like 8.8 or whatever he signed going to San Jose. But
He is, yeah.
teams are willing to. I think San Jose is willing to eat it for sure. I think they're willing to take on like 30 or 40% of it.
The reason why is because I think San Jose, Mike Greer is realizing we kind of need to just rebuild at this point.
You know what his base salary is this year?
What?
$2 million. It's a weird structured deal where this year it's $2 million, and then over the course of the next 2 years it's 10.5 and then 10 million, and then the next 2 years after that is 4 million and then 1.5 million for his last year. And he's finally a free agent in 27, 28.
I thought it was closer to the end of his deal.
No, because Carlson signed a really long deal with the Sharks because the Sharks thought that they were going to stay competitive for another 7 or 8 years. They really bought 2019 as a legitimate thing.
8-year deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, his cap
What
hit
what is the salary cap number this year? Is it right now?
80.4. What I saw. It's going up to 80, whatever it is. It's going up like a million or two. It's 83.8. I think it's only going up to like 85 next year.
I found a team that might be willing to take some salary. The Florida Panthers. Looks like right now for next season, they only have $70 million they're gonna have at least $11 million, and depending on how much the cap goes up, they have at least $11 million available for next year.
Brian, real quick, how much are the Ducks playing?
He's still got some blank to his contract. He's not going anywhere. They love him.
Okay, well that's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Klingberg,
Anthony
Shattenkirk,
Evander
and
is still playing. He's playing at Edmonton.
Yeah. They're the only two that are willing to be moved defensively. They want to keep Camp Fowler as the mentor for guys like Drysdale and whoever else comes up, whether it be Pavel Mintyukov. Who else do they have? Owens, Zellweger. And there's one other really good young defenseman. The hell's his name? Shit. I'll think of it later. But yeah, they want to keep him on as a mentor. Maddie, what are you thinking?
Okay, so we're talking about Chikrin, right?
Yeah, Jacob Chikrin.
All right then. How much he's making? What, $5 million?
We'll say $5 million, a little less.
All right, $5 million. So I'm looking through, thinking here. What is their projected? Well, that's their projected salary. Their current $3 million, but that would require eating some of the salary. I don't think Arizona. Let me see here. Would I want him? Yes, I would want Jacob Chikrin. Let me see here. I don't know if they might be able to pull this off if they make it enough trip. Maybe St. Louis takes a look at Chikrin.
I kind of like that.
Me too.
I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs this year, and they're probably going to want to. Wouldn't be a bad option to look into that.
No, real quick before you move on here, Maddie, they have no cap space right now, though, but they got guys they're willing to trade. Two big names that are making some decent money here, and I'm gonna scroll down a little bit further because they're on the IR right now. That's Ryan O'Reilly, who's making 7.5, and Vladimir Tarasenko, who's making 7.5. So there's a possibility there where Arizona could get either a Ryan O'Reilly or Vladimir Tarasenko in return for that deal. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, but why would they want those guys? I mean, they're a young team. Those guys aren't gonna. I mean, they'd be kind of giving them away.
So they hit the floor. Make sure they keep on hitting the salary floor.
That's a big thing, yeah. That and
right.
They need the veteran leadership on that roster.
So
that's true.
See, here's the thing. I'm been looking at cap friendly at these salary caps. The problem is that they say then deadline cap space, then they say projected cap space. So it's like, okay, what the fuck is their cap space cap friendly? Can you fucking just explain this to me in plain old goddamn English? That'd be nice.
Because there's maneuverability, and then there's also the teams where you have the option of putting guys on, doing basically the Tampa Bay Lightning trick, where you throw a guy on a long-term IR. Carolina's a team that can do that with Pacioretty.
Gotcha.
That's true. True. Okay, that makes sense now. All right then. So that's that.
But I do like St. Louis. I think they could be more of a dark horse in Ottawa, and I'll be honest with you, Robbie. I think Ottawa's more of a front runner than really anybody. I think it's me personally. I think it's going to be between them and Detroit, but I could definitely see a team like St. Louis sneaking in and be like, "Here, we're going to give you this. We're going to give you a couple draft picks. Give us Chikrin. We'll take a couple draft picks for next year. What do you say? Stick out the hand, shake the hand, high five, whatever they like to do."
Well, I just say Ottawa
Out
because
there in
they
St.
have the
Louis
cap
and
space
Arizona.
and they want to save face in Ottawa. You know what I mean?
Oh
Based
no, for
on-
sure. No,
yeah.
for sure. And they need the help on the defensive side.
Right,
It can't just be Thomas Shabbat.
right, sure.
Oh, you're right on that. That's been killing them all year.
I mean, Artem Zub is a decent player, but they need somebody to pair with Shabbat, like really bad. Jake Sanderson is he's a good defenseman, but I don't think he's a top tier guy. Who else do they have up there? Zaitsev, they want to trade him. They're actually willing to give away a first round pick for somebody to take him. Hi, we'll take him. Who else do they have? What the hell's the kid's name? He's got two last names. Hang on, I'll get it in a second. But I mean, Ottawa is absolutely.
Ottawa has $7 million available right now.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they
got
have
free
a lot.
money.
Bernard Docker, that's his name. He's
Gotcha.
a decent little player,
Yeah.
but he's at the end of his ELC, so they'll have to pay him.
To Ted's point below, I think that Gostisbehere could get moved before Chikrin because they've been trying to move Chikrin for a while now and been unsuccessful at it. So what's to say that they're finally successful at it now? Whereas Ghost is a prime trade high guy. You know, like I said, like I wouldn't say awesome return, but you could get a nice, little return. For a team that needs like someone that can score on the power play, that can play 5-on-5 decently.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only issue with Chikrin, in my eyes, is his inability to stay on the ice. I think that's what's really held up that deal.
Sure.
And I'm sure nobody wants to pay 2 first rounders for a guy who can't stay on the ice.
Right,
I'd be surprised if there's a GM out there that's like, no,
Right.
we'll take.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
You're right.
We'll give you a 3 here. Just give us your broken. No,
Brian,
it doesn't look like that.
Your team has almost
Control.
$15 million in salary cap space.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can take anybody they want.
Yeah, I don't want him to though. Like I want him to send some players away. But I mean, Verbeek's already come out and said that he wants to take on, he'll take on bad contracts to get some draft picks. So he's relying heavily on the draft this offseason, which I'm kind of excited for.
That's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah, so I mean that's why Klingberg, they only signed Klingberg to a 1-year deal so they can swap him for a pick or 2.
I would think they would trade Corey Perry.
So Patrick Verbeek said
Corey
instead
Perry
of
hasn't
calling
been
all
a
girls,
Duck in
I'm
like
calling
5
all
years.
bad contracts in the NHL.
They're still paying him.
They probably still are paying him, but he's not a Duck. They're probably still paying him, but he's not a Duck. He went to.
You're right. No, you're right. But I just saw that they're still paying him $2 million.
Mm-hmm. That was part of the deal to move him. They retained a good chunk of his contract to get him to Dallas.
Yeah. They're gonna have to pay Troy Terry though, and they're gonna have to pay Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want him to bring anybody on.
Yeah, and they have to pay Justin Kirkland, and I don't know if they want to keep Max some convoys, but
Kirkland's probably not going to make that much. He'll probably make since he's been up in the NHL, he'll probably get a nice 2-way deal. Max Comtois, I'd be okay if they let him walk. He has not been productive since his first 2 years.
Troy Terry's going to make some money though.
Yeah, he'll probably be in the 8 range, 8.5.
Yeah, I mean he's at he's only at $1.5 million right now. So
that's his bridge deal, believe it or not.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they did.
He took a little while to really explode. He didn't really break out until last year when he had 30,
no, you're
30
right.
goals.
No, yeah, you're right about that. But they have a ton. They have a ton of cap space.
We'll get a nice race, and then you got Drysdale, who's right behind Zegras. As far as getting paid. So yeah, save the money. Give it to those 3 guys, and then start really focusing on bringing in some free agents.
Yeah, the by the way, the Hurricanes have no cap space at all.
Yeah, but they do have the ability to throw Pacioretty on long-term IR and free it up.
Yeah, they
Mm,
do.
They don't.
They do.
They don't. He's back.
No, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to go then.
Oh, I thought he was. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he came back recently. It was like within like the last 2 weeks, but he's been on the ice. Yeah.
And what they do is you just trade Pacioretty then. LTR, we'll trade his ass. There we go.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
No, I like Pacioretty here. Him and Stastny reunited. Come on. They were a good duo.
Listen, I'm sorry, but all good things got to come to an end. Reunion's over. Time to move on. Get the fuck out.
I think I don't really see Carolina being too crazy with the trade deadline coming up.
They have
weren't-
nothing. They have no money right now. So if they make a move, they're definitely gonna have to get rid of some guys.
I mean, Pacioretty's a free agent at the end of the year. Jordan Stahl's a free agent at the end of the year. Jesper Fast will probably get another contract. Paul Stastny's going to walk at the end of the year. They'll get some money back. Calvin the Hahn's not even making $1 million, so I'm not even worried about him. And then they're going to have to move a goalie at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jake Garner's on the LTIR, so he's a UFA at the end of the year too. So getting Jake Garner off the books would be great.
Like Mercs, you know.
I mean, they'll free up some money. They'll have some money to play with
and hired guns to try and get themselves, you know. They will. It's just that this year they were loading up on that so that they could try and get out of that second round hump that they've been slamming their face first into the last few seasons.
Yep, and they'll be all right. They're playing really good hockey right now. I don't see them really. I see them doing maybe something like they did last year, getting like a Kakaniemi who needs to change his scenery, but he's going to take a cheap deal. It's going to take a cheap deal to bring him in because he's on a cheap deal, or bringing in Max Domi last year. Small moves like that. Like that's the only thing I can see him doing. They're not trading Jordan Stahl. He's probably going to get another contract after the year, but it'll be much less.
No.
Pacioretty might walk at the end of the year. Well, we'll see what happens.
Right.
You would think Jordan Stahl would.
I would say though, I'm sure there'll be less controversy around like the Kakaniemi situation. Less controversy in a trade there.
Jordan Stahl, I think that was a deal.
That's pretty funny though, looking back on it.
This is the end of the deal that he signed like 6 years ago.
Yeah. What's he making? Like $5 million? Right now?
6.
6. Okay.
Is there another player to bring up?
Oh yeah, sorry. We got in this conversation. We just kept going. So number 2 on my list is kind of the number 1 dog here, the official number 1 dog, and this is Bo Horvat. And 43 games, he's got 48 points, 30 goals, 18 assists. He's 16 power play points, and he's a +5. I mean, I think we can all pretty much settle on that. We all want him.
Oh yeah. Every team in the league is going to want him. So every team will figure out a way to move salary to get him.
What are you thinking, Robbie?
I definitely think he was on the move. I was under the I thought Max was going to be out because Pacioretty had Achilles surgery, did he not?
Oh, you're still mind blown by that?
I am, but I saw that he had it back in August, and I get that or whatever. But I thought that I didn't realize he came back, like you said, of recent or what have you. That's where I had Bo Horvat going to, but obviously that's not going to be able to happen salary wise. I think he's they've Jim Rutherford's offered him contract extensions, fucking, to the tune of what they offered JT Miller, and he's straight out rejected him. He does not want to stay there. He's going to be gone. Now I'm going to have to do some homework and see what team might get him. Maybe if they don't get Besser, could the Islanders get Horvat?
That's a great question.
Yeah, the Islanders are definitely going to do something.
It's very true.
All right. So here's the thing about Horvat.
Because the Island, that spot where it's like they're competitive, they just need to stay there.
Right, and that's what that's not what Brock Besser, but that's what Bo Horvat is looking for. He's looking for a team to compete with. He doesn't want to be a team. He doesn't want to be on any kind of a rebuilding team anymore. So that rules us out. That rules a bunch of other teams out. He wants to go with a team that's either ready to compete or a team that's already there. The one team that I've heard most consistently with Bo Horvat's name is the Colorado Avalanche. Now, they got pieces that they can move back, but my question for them is, do they sign him back long term? Because I can see him going to a younger team on the verge of competing, maybe a team like Detroit, where he can be a future captain and be on a team that's ready to compete.
What about Buffalo?
Buffalo could be an option. I'm pretty sure Buffalo has money too. And they're a team that's borderline ready to keep. Imagine him and Tage Thompson together.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Him, Tage Thompson, and Alex Tuck together could be a filthy first line.
Sure,
I'm getting a little excited for this. I love trade talk.
I was actually, I was going to say with Bo Horvat, I was actually going to pick Detroit because I thought, you know what, it makes sense for him to go there. Detroit's on that cusp of being like, okay, Detroit's back, and I think that would be something he would want to jump. Talking about there, Brian, with opportunity for captaincy, opportunity to really kind of make the team his own. Option either in that regard, but I would say this. I think the reason why he might want to go with Detroit might be because with Buffalo, it's okay, Buffalo's doing good this year. Are they going to be doing good next year? I think like that might be something might be going through his head as well. Maybe he might want to see, building this up for a while now. This is the first, okay, Detroit is ready to make that big leap. I want to be a part of that big leap. Whereas Buffalo, I feel like, okay, Buffalo's been trying to get things going, and it seems like they're finally going in the right direction. But are they? Like, and I'm not saying that to just shit on Buffalo. It's just that, are they going to do this next year? Can they be this good next year? They got talent. Can they keep this going and keep that consistency going? Detroit seems to be on the cusp of, okay, we can be more consistent now than we were in the past. That to me is what I'm thinking might be going through his head of what team is most likely going to stay competitive next year and going forward as well.
Keep in mind here, Matty, he's on the last year of his deal, so he's a UFA at the end of the year.
I get that. I do understand that, and that does give him a lot of options going into the free agency. But for that year, and he likes the environment he's in, and he feels like this is a legitimate enough team that's like, okay, this team is going to keep this going. Maybe he sticks around long term and dives headlong into. I figured Detroit might be the team that's most likely ready to do that out of the teams that we see in the Atlantic that have been trying to build themselves back up. Was that thinking in there for Horvat?
Hang tight, Ted. I got some flyers coming up here. So this first guy, did everybody answer?
I'm going to throw two more teams up in the mix for Horvat. Minnesota's been known as buyers. So, I mean, they might be in on the sweepstakes as well. But here's a good fit. Washington Capitals. They currently have over $5 million in cap space available.
Yeah, and they always make moves at the end of at the trade deadline.
Okay.
Yeah, they got the space though, and I'm sure they'll be willing to move somebody. And the other team, Robbie?
Minnesota, I think, is buyers in the market, so you got to consider them. But Washington was that second team, and I mean, They can rent or they can rent to own.
Well, no, hear me out on this. Of the three guys that I mentioned from Vancouver, one guy is actually already linked to Minnesota, and that's Brock Besser,
Right.
mainly because of his hometown ties to Minnesota and,
Right.
and wanted to play for a
Right.
hometown team. But I was reading something. I forget what it said on why Minnesota is probably not going to go after him, but I forget. I'll have to look it up, and I'll have to let you know off the air. But so my number one here is kind of unofficial. We're not sure what's going to happen with him, but I want to have some fun with this one. And my number one here is, as soon as I get this earbud right, sorry guys, is David Pastrnak. We don't know the future for him in Boston yet. Contract
sign him.
negotiations have not gone well, if they've even taken place at all. There's been rumors from some inconsistent sources that have said that Boston could trade him. Same thing with Dylan Larkin. Possibly out in Detroit because they're both at the end of the contracts, and contract extension talks have not gone well for either. Let's have some fun with this one. I'm not going to worry about whether or not you guys want him. Everybody wants Pasta. The same thing with Bo Horvat. What team goes after him, and do they re-sign him to a long-term deal?
It'd
I
be
would say the
hard to
Rangers.
see the Bruins
Good
let him walk
question.
away of the year he's having. But
Then again, it also
Crazy,
doesn't surprise me that he's having the year he's having because he might be prepared to walk anyway. He might just say, you know what, I don't care what they offer me. I'm done. Maybe that's why.
Keep in mind,
No.
I'm talking.
I'm not saying that that's how it
saying walking
is,
away.
but
Keep in mind, I'm saying traded.
I get
What
that. But
What team trades for him and could
it's just
potentially
you
get
get
him that
my
long-term deal?
here, you know.
Because he's probably looking at close to 12,
All right, so let's see here.
12.5 million a year.
Really, the only team that could afford him is Buffalo.
Possibly.
Well, it depends
what I
on what
was
you
thinking.
trade. Because Boston Kings ransom.
Yeah, you're giving up a king's ransom for this guy.
Yeah, and then you have to sign him too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right. What teams would be able to do that and not handicap themselves in the process? That's the thing.
Well, if I'm Boston in this situation and I'm trading him, I want a couple players that are NHL ready now. Obviously on the younger side, and then I would just want a bunch of picks. But again, that's going to come down to cap space and who's going to have the most guys walking away.
Right.
Well, whoever does get him is going to be buying out a lot of contracts
Mm-mm-mm.
because he's going to want a lot of money next year.
He wants a lot of money now.
Well, that's what I know, but you know what I mean, though. He's gonna, for his next contract, he's gonna want it all.
So
That's a
here's-
lot of
He's
Dunkin'
gonna want
brews, eh?
8 years. He's probably gonna want 8 years and close to $100 million.
That's a cold brewing.
Gia, what's he say? Oh, what's he saying? Oh, yeah. I'm a regular here.
Yeah. Oh, she knows your
She
order?
has a.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a regular in here.
All right. So the one team I'm looking at, believe it or not, if they can pull off the trade before getting Pastrnak, I could see the San Jose Sharks being able to afford him. But it's all going to rely on whether or not they can get Erik Karlsson off the books completely.
Right.
That's going to be the big one. We saw Carolina take the contract to Brett Burns. I don't see why somebody's not going to take the contract to Erik Karlsson, especially since he's. Well, I mean that's a tough 5-year deal. They got
Coyotes could do it.
Coyotes probably could. And they need like I said, they need veteran leadership on that roster bad. You're losing $2 million in Nick Bonino at the end of the year for San Jose. You're going to lose $6 million in Timo Meier probably,
Right.
because he's probably going to get traded.
There has been,
And then you got Logan Couture
They
and
have
Thomas
rumored
Hertel on
talking-
long-term deals.
right. Although
Yeah, that hurdle
Not
that
this-
hurdle trade.
should maybe
I mean that
try
hurdle
to see if they could
re-signing,
trade
they
him.
should have traded him.
Probably. Oh,
Now
for
they're
sure,
starting to
probably.
have regrets on that one. So
I don't know. I got to look at his stats real quick.
I mean,
'Cause I think-
technically, if you do that trade, and you can get Eric Carlson off the book, you might be able to talk to Boston into saying, do you want Hurdle too? Because offensively, that could really help. Carlson at the end of the day, while he's an offensive defenseman as well, Hurdle helps the forward side of things because you're losing a lot of offense when you lose Pasta.
Well, you're not moving Hurdle this year. You just signed him to a contract. You're just showing the faith in him that you want to show him. And he's having a solid year. He had 14 goals, 26 assists, and 40
That's
points in
true.
43 games. So he's still putting the production up there. But
He
if you
is.
put a player like Pasta with him, I think you see that those numbers go up with Hurdle. But you just signed him to a long-term deal. You should put all your faith in him, saying, hey, we're going to build around you and Couture. We're going to let
True.
everybody else walk. That's a punch in the mouth if you trade him right now.
That's a good
So
point.
Hurdle's not.
No,
Hurdle's not
I
going
agree.
anywhere.
I agree. I
Right.
get that.
And it's a full no movement
I'm
clause
just
too.
saying
So
that. Oh
Well, he's
yeah,
not-
that's true.
it's a full no movement clause for 2 more years, I should say.
That's true. Yeah. Right. That's true. I forgot about that.
So from 25-26 to the 27-28, he's
So-
got to give teams a 3-team trade list, and from 28-29 to 29-30, it's a 15-team trade list. So for the next 2 or 3 years, he's on a full no movement clause. So it's got to come down. It's going to come down
What
to
I'm
Timo Meier
wondering,
and Eric Carlson for that move specifically to happen.
Not easy to make trades in the NHL.
well, it would be Eric Carlson. No, not like back in the day when you didn't have a salary cap to worry about. You could do whatever the fuck you wanted then. Let's see. What about now this would require not only a buyout, you'd obviously have to make trades. You have to put up a decent amount of trade. You think the Kings would look into this?
Possibility. They got young pieces they could send back to Boston. I wouldn't surprise me if they made a push if they ever made Pasta available. I think they could make sense. I'd give up my fandom as a Ducks fan, but
Right.
no, I wouldn't actually do that. I wouldn't actually do that, but I would hate my life for however long he signs a deal for. Got to deal with Andre Kopitar.
I'm
and-
only looking at because
and,
you know.
Nope.
Right. But I'm thinking it because it's like it's a young team, up and coming team. You could conceivably say maybe if you need to afford it, maybe you do a buyout, possibly of Drew Doughty. I know that might not be a popular move in Kingsland, but if you have to make it work, there is that possibility you could look at.
I could maybe, possibly. All right, so Kings we have, Sharks we have. Any other teams that
Maybe.
could possibly fit? I mean, dare we throw Anaheim into the mix? I mean, there are three stud puppies that need to get locked up, but
yeah,
no,
but
I'm being serious here because they have.
you have an
13
awful lot of room in your cap to take on players, though.
Right, and 13 mil on the cap right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility.
you could do it. Yeah, I'd be
Probably have to
shocked.
send.
I'd be shocked if they. I'd be shocked though if they let Pasta go.
I mean, I have a funny feeling that in that deal we'd have to send Troy Terry back that way, but
He is an unrestricted free agent, so it's like if you're not going to sign him, it's a
Mhm.
tough spot to be in. I get it, but I'm with you. I think they got to try to find a way. That's their future, especially with the rest of the roster being pretty up there, long in the tooth. But I mean, Anaheim's one of the top 3 in the league in terms of cap space, at 13 million. But we mentioned the Sabres before as a potentiality.
oh yeah,
What if the Chicago Blackhawks decide to move on from Kane and Taves and take on Pasternak?
Ooh, I would cry.
That could
Priz
happen.
would be jumping for joy.
Yeah.
Priz is out sleeping, and he just heard
Yeah,
that.
he
somehow.
would.
Right. His ears just perked up. Ping. What? Pasternak to the Hawks? Go back to
At the
bed.
2:30 mark,
Priz.
Priz,
Anthony-
I got to rate it in the group at the 2:30 mark.
Yeah,
It's a wet dream for you, bro.
Ted's
That's
saying
all it
that-
is. Go back to sleep.
Ted's talking about the Devils, and honestly, could they do that conceivably? The question is, what would they be willing to give up for him?
Conceivably, they could do it. But, I mean, they got a lot of really nice pieces in place for them right now. I don't know if they'd be willing to give a lot of that up. Because they have to,
and you
like I
can't-
said, this is going to cost teams a lot to get a player like David Pasternak.
Right, and I don't think that just
And
if
Boston
you
is not
ask,
stupid, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
right, because here's the other thing too. Like, even if the Devils conceivably tried to do this, they would have to most likely go to Dougie Hamilton and ask, "Can you waive your no movement clause if we send you to Boston?" Now, to say that Dougie wouldn't be willing to do that to go to Boston would be wrong. I'm sure he wouldn't mind going there because.
He did start his career there.
Right, and they are competitive right now, so I don't think he would necessarily be mad at that option. However, though, would that be enough to get it done? I would say probably not, because then you have to start thinking about, okay, now what do we do? Okay, you then have to look at some of your young players and say, who are we willing to part with? And I don't know if the Devils want to do that. I don't think they would want to do that.
Well, keep in mind, Pasta's 26.
Right, true.
So
He's not old.
No, it's gonna need to be a haul. I don't think Devils would give up Jack Hughes. He's too
No
much of a
way.
stud puppy.
No way.
Devils do not
nobody's
have the cap
going
room either, Anthony. They don't. They have zero. Zero. Hawks could, yeah.
Right.
Hawks definitely could, because I know, Pove, you were saying that, and I'm pretty sure Anthony agrees with you. Something I actually didn't really look at yet. Chicago, because Taves is gone as good as this year. Kane may be gone, if not this year, definitely next year if he signs a 1-year contract. Who else is up? Andres Athanasiou's contract's up at the end of the year. Max Domi's contract's up at the end of the year.
Max Domi is only making $3 million a year, though.
Who? So is Athanasiou. But I'm just looking at
Yeah,
the
so
big
it's not-
contracts here that they have. They're going to have a ton of space. They're looking at right now, off of those 4 contracts alone, you're looking at 20, that's 11, that's 22, 25, $28 million freed up. I think that's how that works.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That's off of 4 players.
Pasta won't pull a Rick James on your couch. Come in, play Chicago, have a top 3 and walk.
That would be cold-blooded.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, could you imagine if he did that? All right, guys, got us out of top 5. We're relevant again. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right.
See you later, bitches.
That'd be one of those trades where they would negotiate to try to get him signed long term and then make a deal.
Oh, it had to be a trade sign and trade or trade and sign, however you want to phrase it. But.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, let's run through these 3 flyers here.
So
real quick,
here's
I have.
one last one to throw out there.
Who you got, Maddie?
Oh, okay. So one last team I wanted to throw out there just because a lot shorter than you would see, and they might think about looking into it. They're stupid enough to try this because they want to get cute. What if Toronto? That may sound inconceivable and stupid, but remember, this is the Maple Leafs. They do some strange fucking shit when they're trying to get a Stanley Cup. They've been trying to for years. Yeah, but this is Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto.
They do weird shit all the time. Good Willander,
star.
And maybe even
Cars will burn.
Think about it. Think about how strange that would be. But my God, that'd be so NHL if that shit happened.
That city would burn. Boston. Have you guys watched the first episode of Last of Us yet? Have any of you guys watched the first episode of The Last of Us yet?
No.
They showed Boston after the world went to hell in apparently until 2023. That would be Boston in real life. That would be Boston. That city would be absolutely trying to swoop in and takes David Pasternak from them and doesn't give him shit in return.
Yeah, after they already lost. What's the name guy from the Red Sox?
Right, Bogart. The only thing that could save Boston would be Tom Brady signing back with the Patriots. That would be the only thing that would save Boston.
No,
I don't even necessarily know if that'll save Boston anymore. Especially after the game on Monday night. The fuck they bringing him back for?
Done. Brady is done.
Yeah, I agree.
There's not even like anybody on Toronto's roster that's even going to be able to conceivably make this deal happen. Unless you're giving up Mitch Marner or Jonathan Tavares. Even Nylander. Nylander's not making that much money.
I thought he was.
He's not even at 7.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big drop-off from Matthews, Tavares, Marner to Nylander.
What about Tavares?
Tavares is at 11. So, I mean, if they could conceivably... Well, he's got a full no-movement clause throughout the rest of his contract. So he's
too high.
Yeah, Tavares is he's not washed.
Right, he's
not the same player he was when he was on the Islanders.
All right, so just because Maddie's getting me started here, this is all his fault, but I'm putting it out there. Pasta for Matthew.
If that happened, holy shit.
What about pasta for Matthew?
You know, that's the thing, though.
Right,
you wouldn't need to add... You wouldn't... Go ahead.
Hear me out. The future for Austin Matthews in Toronto is uncertain as it is because there's rumors and projections that he goes to Arizona when his contract's up. If that's the case, if you're going to lose him anyway, why not trade him for... Essentially, you're trading him for a similar style of player to anyway.
Right.
So if you can sign him to a long-term deal, and you can guarantee that he'll sign that long-term deal, and you're not guaranteed on Matthews that in 2 years, why not do that? Ship him to Boston, and then Matthews can walk out of Boston while they still have Pasternak, and every Maple Leafs fan can just stick the middle fingers up and go, "Ha ha, Boston."
And then all the Boston fans can stick their middle fingers up at Toronto because Matthews will win them a fucking cup.
Hey,
but
yeah.
You see Toronto's like, "Hey, fuck you, buddy. Hey, I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy."
Oh my god! But here's the thing, though. You could do that straight up deal, though, because you wouldn't need to add anything on. It would just be like Matthews for Pastrnak. It's like deal. I mean, what else do you need to fucking add on there? Nothing.
I mean, that would just be making a change just for the sake of making a change.
Pretty much.
Both teams would be fine with that.
That nice Toronto move. That is such a Toronto move to make. That really fucking is. There's no better move, an example of Toronto's trading, than that right there. Like, Toronto does shit like that all the time.
All
Yeah, I
right,
can see that happen.
all right, so let's move on here real quick because we should probably wrap this up soon.
Right.
The three Flyers I have. All right, we'll do this quick and then we'll jump into the third period here. So the three Flyers that I have are probably three most common guys that we're talking about as far as trades go. So we'll start with JVR. Where do we think he's going?
Could be the Rangers if they're unable to get Kane.
And the Flyers will
Minnesota.
probably have to retain. You in Minnesota tonight? I like it. That could
Well,
be a good fit.
Yeah, it'd be a good fit because that's where he lives. Again, like to your point with the other player you were mentioning.
Yeah. Maddie? So we got the Rangers, we got Minnesota.
This may sound kind of weird. Maybe Dallas?
Doesn't sound weird at all.
No.
I've heard that.
They could use another power forward. They could definitely use a power play guy for sure.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that
gonna
would
go
help
ahead
their
and I'm gonna.
offensive.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Islanders too.
Go ahead, bro.
Islanders could be another team. Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and say Detroit. They have a little bit of cap space left.
Detroit's
They
not a
have
bad option.
they have some players to move, and we know between JVR and the other guy I'm going to mention, they're going to retain retain some of the contracts. So, it's doable, and you don't only have to worry about retaining what we'll say up to $3.5 million for JVR, and you're probably only have to do that for a year, and then he's off the books completely. And you don't got to worry about it.
Well, Ted does say of all the places he can live, he chooses Minnesota, not Summer Sunny.
But the people are great in Minnesota, apparently. It's like living in Canada, but you're still in America.
Yep.
People are actually nice up there. It's not like New Jersey and Philly where everybody treats you like shit for no reason.
Well, that's a New Jersey Philly thing.
Do the Jersey
and
greeting.
And it goes up to New York too.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah. It's the whole New York, New Jersey, Philly metropolitan area.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's that whole area. All right, next
Technically,
guy.
it's a summer home in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota, I hear, is gorgeous in the summer too. All right, next guy, Ivan Provorov.
Edmonton.
I'm with you on that, Brad. Robbie?
I say they don't get what they. I say he stays, not that they don't try to.
Ooh, I like that. It's a little twist.
I wonder if they could do. They could. I'm gonna. Might actually be kind of funny to see him come back. Florida. Like, hey, he's back.
What Wait, for who? Who's coming back?
Gudis.
Oh,
Gudis.
nope.
They give us back Gudis.
You
Your
got
favorite
Gudis back?
player.
They got him back.
It'd be-
No, he's
No,
saying
that would be the deal.
Oh God.
And we still have to retain some of the contract. Chuck Fletcher move all the way right there.
All right, so that's
Hey,
good. All right,
Swookie.
so Maddie's saying Florida. Robbie is saying he's staying. Me and Brad are on Edmonton. I can dig that. And last guy. Now keep in mind, the only way teams are going to take him is if the Flyers take about 20 to 30%, I think I saw, of his contract. And that's Kevin Hayes.
You'd also have to waive the no movement clause.
The no movement clause is he gave them their 12 teams. That's all
Oh,
he needed
okay.
to do.
So that's
it's
done.
a
All right,
it's a
then.
partial no movement clause. So he's got the list in.
You know who I'm going to say with that? Boston.
Yeah. That's a good one.
He's from Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And his brother played for him.
You saying Pasta's
Yep.
coming to Philly?
Not for Kevin Hayes.
No.
I was gonna joke about that too. Great mind. Straight up, it works.
He said straight up.
Straight up. There you go. Yeah, straight up.
That would officially make Chuck in Flyers history.
Yeah, Chuck would become the your favorite GM if he pulled that off. Nothing against Hayes, but I mean,
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say I think he comes to Carolina. I think it's a really good fit for him. It's a team that's in the playoff hunt. It's a team that's in a hunt for a Stanley Cup, and they could use a guy like Kevin Hayes on in the middle two lines to play center.
another big guy that's hard to play against.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they need help.
They like those kind of players too.
They do. And he's a good guy on the penalty kill. And they need guys who can win faceoffs too. I mean, Jarrett Stahl is a great player to have down here, but they could use him for a bit.
They're not good at you're right, they're not real good at killing at the penalty kill or winning faceoffs.
Yeah, they're not. And I think Kevin Hayes could be a huge benefit for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I could see them pulling off that move. Although I feel like I don't really see that as a big move.
They're gonna have a lot of cap space after this year.
They're gonna have quite a bit if they don't re-sign a couple players.
Right. So if they probably will, because I don't think they're winning the Stanley Cup this year.
I will say offensively, I think that they might not mind having him depth-wise. I say Minnesota might be interested in him.
I dig it, Anthony.
Offensively, it might not be a bad
Forego
thing for
this
them.
fucking draft. Trade all your draft picks and give Pasta a proven player. Let's go. I don't
And he's
hate
still
it.
young.
There we
I
go.
don't hate it. I'm being serious. I don't hate it.
And he's still young.
He's a big time. I mean, Pasta's great.
Oh my God, you're gonna have to eat so much contract for that move.
Yeah, but he's so good.
Oh, he's so
That would
good.
be
He
like the Eric
he's amazing.
Lindros, modern-day Eric Lindros trade right there.
But you know what?
That literally is an Eric Lindros equivalent trade. by today's
Pasta is the
standards.
modern day. He is the modern day Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
he's
if you
having
watch
a-
him play,
a
he is very, very similar.
I'm not
to
going to
Mario
argue that,
Lemieux.
though.
He's having an amazing season too.
Yep. I mean, he's so good.
Like I said, he's going to make a minimum in his next contract. He's going to be asking a minimum of 12.
Yeah, he's worth it.
Absolutely, he is.
He's worth every penny.
Oh yeah, no
I mean,
doubt.
he's not may not be McDavid, but he's right under McDavid. I mean, you could make the argument he's the second best player in the league.
All right, so that's pretty much all I got player wise.
All right then. All right then. Cool. So that's it for the second period. And the second period for tonight, brought to you by All Campus OC. If you're ever in the Jersey area and you want to head on down to the shore, go on to Ocean City and give John Coyle a shout out and go visit his shop. All Campus OC, giving 20% off of everything. You have shirts to all the A2D subscribers. So get subscribed up. Go say hi to John, buy your team colors, and wear them with pride at All Campus OC. All right, gentlemen. So we move on to the third period around the league. Any major stories you guys want to bring up before I talk about Lanier and what happened with him?
I got one major one, and it does still involve the Vegas Golden Knights. Mark Stone, hurt again.
Oh,
They think it's his back again.
Hmm.
Mm.
no bueno.
That's a shame.
No bueno, indeed. I'll rattle through a couple real quick. Minnesota already starting their activity. They signed Matt Boldy to a 7-year, $49 million contract. 21-year-old's got 68 points in 89 NHL career games. You know, they have a high prospect for him, but he was in the final season of a 3-year entry-level contract, and he could have became a restricted free agent after the season. He's fourth on the Wild with 29 points this season, 12 goals in 42 games. Another thing I noticed, too, we talked about the Caps earlier tonight being defeated. Is that right, Brad? Caps went down?
Yeah, they lost again.
Yeah, they lost again, but they had to come back down 0-3 against your Islanders. I wanted to bring this up because I knew it'd bring a smile to your face. After getting swept by the Flyers, they completed an epic comeback down 0-3 to beat the New York Islanders in overtime with a sweet overtime winner from Dmitry Orlov. Helped, I mean, you talk about TJ Oshie being a superstar. He just absolute sweet dish for the game winner there, 3-on-3.
Very, very, very nice. I like it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Oshie actually tied the game in the third period.
The Islanders are in trouble right now.
Yeah, they are.
They are definitely right now. Both them and Washington have been in disarray.
Yep.
I mean, the only team Washington's been able to beat lately is Columbus. If it wasn't for those 2 games they got to play Columbus, I mean, they probably have lost like 7 or 8 in a row now.
Right.
Well, real quick, guys, if we're not certain that Ivan Provorov is on his way out, he might be even more so now than he was before. Word is tonight that Ivan Provorov missed warm-ups because he didn't want to wear the Pride jersey that everybody was wearing. So if you didn't see him during warm-ups and everybody questioned it, that's why. He says, I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. So he's clearly against it. But, I mean...
I read that earlier.
Yeah, come on, man. I mean, good for you for staying true to yourself, but...
You can't just go along with it. Like, is it that big a deal? I mean, my God, these guys get so... They need to get over themselves, some of these guys. I don't think they trade him because of that. I think, but that just kind of throws a little more gas in the fire, though.
I think so too.
Like now you're just kind of now you're nitpicking. Like, is it really that big of a deal?
And no matter what it is, you're not staying true to the team, being uniform with the team. You know what I mean? It's just another way you're alienating.
Yeah, your employer is
Exactly.
asking you to wear a uniform. Okay, why is that such a big stinking deal? I mean, your employer, who is very generously paying you your salary this year, okay, requests that you wear a certain uniform. What's the big deal? For God's sakes, some of these guys. I mean, you play hockey. What could be possibly? I mean, you have the ability to play at a high level of ice hockey, which is one of the most fun sports you could ever play. Okay, and all they're asking you is to wear whatever the hell it is that they're wearing. What's the big deal? Just wear it.
And it's
You're
just for
wearing it
warm
for
ups.
you're wearing it for half an hour and then you're taking it off. What's the problem here?
I mean, it's. I get that's your beliefs and all that, man. But like, everybody needs support. This world is so divided. This country right now is so divided in so many different ways. You got to come together somewhere.
And he's Russian though.
He's still living in America.
Yeah, I know. But I mean,
You don't mix.
It's a different world over there. I get it.
You
why
don't
does
mix
everybody have
politics
to-
with your work.
why does everybody have to fight about everything?
That's and that to me, that's the biggest problem.
It's like, come on.
I blame
okay.
social media because it gives everybody a voice.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes, absolutely. I 1,000% agree with that. But anyway, moving on.
And
Yes.
yeah, and as the old saying goes, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Last thing I'll bring up before Maddie goes into this epic story, and I'm actually going to kick it to you, Brian, because you were the one that found it. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I've been hearing some rumors about Flyers in a New Jersey for next year.
Oh, yeah. So it has been confirmed that the Flyers are changing the home and away jersey for next season. So the plan for them is to keep the logo the same. So that's going to stay. The black jersey that they wore tonight, their alternate jersey, is going to stay. From what I understand, it's going to be a very new home and away jersey.
cool.
They are doing nothing that they've done before. So nothing from the 90s, nothing from last year, nothing from the reverse retros. It's going to be a whole new concept that is going to be just something to not just re-energize the players, but you're walking into a new era. You're walking into, energizing the fan base.
Why do I have a feeling it's going to be midnight green?
Could you imagine?
So
Big
the logo
Eagles
ain't
logo on
changing,
the
but the
chest.
colors are changing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very
Swoop's
curious
the new
about this. I'm
mascot.
very
Midnight
curious about where
green,
they'll go.
midnight green and silver.
It would take care of those fans that wear the Eagles jerseys to the game. They'll fit in well now.
You just nip that in the bud right there.
Or could they possibly have a picture of the Liberty Bell on the jersey?
No, but if the logo stays
Nah.
the same.
The logo stays the
Filla.
same. Okay.
They're going to have Filla across.
Okay.
Oh, God. Could you?
Please, God, no, don't do that. I will absolutely
Sixers have
hate you
already-
then if you do that. Hell no.
Sixers already do that, and it looks terrible.
Yeah.
It,
Well,
could be,
that was their jersey in the 60s.
it can't be as bad as the Devils' alternate jersey where it just says jersey across it. So at least we don't have that problem.
Right. Thank God.
But yeah, that's pretty much everything on the jerseys that they're announcing right now. So brand new concept, nothing from the past. Logo stays the same. Maybe it's good. It's pretty cool. I'm actually excited. Well, yeah. What up, Jimmy?
Yeah. Flyers
Yeah,
aren't looking
Jimmy.
too bad. No, they're not.
Jimmy, ain't hear from you in a while,
man.
brother.
Finally, he's gotten bogged down a lot with work and school. Things are going good for you, man.
Yeah, brother. All right, Maddie. What's your story here on Robin Lanier? Let's do this.
Sure. All right, so near two things happened. One, he and his wife were planning on filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, citing $50 million in debt. By the way, his contract is only worth $25 million. So just to
Who's
make
this? Who is this
that
now?
perfectly clear.
Robin
Robin Lanier.
And this is really
Goaltender
Robin
for the
Lanier.
Knights.
Oh,
Yep. Then the filings. It also includes missed payments of $1.2 million on his reptile farm in Plateau, Mississippi. And that's a whole fiasco in its own part because he opened up and as well, the person he bought it from is dead now because his wife killed him. It's like, what the fuck is going on with this story? When I read that, I was like, this is the strangest ass story I have read in hockey in quite some time. So all of this, these are rare, like ball pythons and anacondas perch, by the way. They have to have a suit. No, they're tropical. So this whole thing is a complete fucking mess. That's just one part of it, of the filings. They don't go into any other details of what else was there. But not only was he going to file for bankruptcy for $50 million, filing him and his wife. They got sued for about $4 million months before the bankruptcy filing.
Wow.
And it also said that their estimates is worth $1 to $10 million while his liability creditors.
Yeah, but if you file for bankruptcy, that
this whole thing is
that doesn't get you out of a personal lawsuit.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
No.
So
all that doesn't get rid of your credit card debt.
Lawsuit is from the person who bought the reptile. So that's just one part of it, and you have the rest is like apparently for $50 million. So has been doing some shady ass business shit this whole time while he's been and making weird ass purchases on the side as well.
So
what the fuck?
Wait a minute, Maddie. Wait a minute, Maddie. So what you're telling me is that Robin Lanier went all Joe Exotic?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Fucking Gary Bettman.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, so feel free to take a look at these. There's a couple of articles I read. One was from CBS Sports. The other one was from I believe, from Vegas News local. And they were going into this whole fucking bullshit about how he bought these rare reptiles. Then he didn't have the ability to take care of them, so he put them on a farm, didn't. And then on top of that, he's supposed to pay, and then he got killed by his wife. And it's just like, holy shit, what was when I read this? This shit has more turns than than a fucking highway. And there's sharp, steep-ass turns, too. Holy shit.
Carol Baskin strikes again.
It's when you think it's over. It's when you think it's over.
Oh my god.
No, it's over when I say it's over.
It's exactly what she's saying. It ain't over yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Fucking Class D's.
Oh my.
He might very well have been. This is only one part of the $50 million apparently he was filing bankruptcy for. Oh my god.
I can't even.
So yeah, so if we've learned a few things. One, don't ever piss off your wife because she will murder you. Secondly, on top of that, we also find out that don't ever do business with Robin Lanier because it will end badly for you very quickly. We've learned a few things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another crazy ass.
Oh man. All right, let's wrap this up.
Oh. All right. All right. Sorry. Oh. So the third period of today was brought to you by FanUp, which is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports. They have daily NFL contests and more. Obviously, the playoffs are right around the corner. I know the Eagles fandom, the hype is very much up and running. So get in on some fantasy sports. Get the FanUp app, and you get, like we said, daily NFL contests, but you also get, if you sign up today and you use the promo code, 5,000 bonus points. $2 value, by the way. So that's not cheap, but 5,000 bonus points with the A2D promo code. So go to fanup.app, download it, and earn yourself some cash, while the playoffs are going on. Especially if your team didn't make it. It's time to earn some money on the side at least, so that you get paid for suffering. All right, then. So we go to the shootout segment, and we kick things off with, as usual, Player of the Week. Gentlemen, who is it?
Kucherov.
Yeah, he did have a pretty damn good week. 7 points, 3 goals.
3 goals, 4 assists in 3 or 4 games or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to
good-
give it
good
to
week.
him.
Yeah.
I'd say Kucherov, Martin Jones, and you can put anybody else in there. But those.
Yeah,
those
that's
two
who
would
I have. I have old friend Martin Jones.
be- Yeah.
Like you said
Oh,
before.
even though he got destroyed tonight in Edmonton.
Yeah, he did, but we're talking about the week that was, and
Yes.
he was the first star in the NHL, like you pointed out before. He got 3 wins and 2 shootouts. And in case people are just joining us, Seattle swept their 7-game road trip, the first team in NHL history to do that.
It ended tonight.
It did. Well, no, they were home tonight, though, right?
Seattle was on the road tonight.
Were they?
Yeah, in Edmonton.
It's over. And it's over now.
Yeah, they got crushed.
Yeah, 5-2. Yeah, it was in Edmonton. You're right.
Yeah.
No more road winning streak.
Mm-mm.
They got beat last night too, I believe.
So,
Yeah,
You know what it's
Lightning
called?
smacked them down. Yeah, Lightning smacked them down 4-1.
You know what it's called?
What's that?
Bucket correction.
Luckily, Tampa have highly trained professionals to make sure it's done.
Yeah, they conduct. That's how they conduct their business down there.
All right, so mine, real quick, Ted. Yeah, I do have the Eagles winning Saturday. I have them winning a very close game.
Yep.
I'm gonna go a little under the radar, and I'm gonna go a little homerish and go Adam Henrique. Adam Henrique is on a 3-game goal streak for them. There's not a whole lot to really be like, yeah, with the Ducks. So for me, I'm gonna put a little spotlight on Adam Henrique, who's having a really under the radar, really good season with 15 goals. Who scored his 15th tonight. So for me, it's Adam Henrique. It's a little recognition for the guy who's having a good season and a terrible season at the same time.
Okay. I will do my player of the week. You know what? I'm gonna roll with. Kevin Hayes. Screw it. He got a hat trick tonight. I'm rolling with it. I don't care. That trade value, buddy. Up it.
Got a
You
hat
gave your
trick, so
12
you
teams. All right. I'll see you later, buddy.
Can't argue with the hat trick.
No.
Truth.
No.
And there's some recommendations for the Flyers. Hazy and TK's been on a nice point streak as well. For Don, if he's still with us, Lucas Raymond, he's coming off a 3-goal week, 7 points, just like Kucherov too.
Yeah, Mo Sider had a
that's
goal
right. I
tonight.
forgot about him.
Okay. Next.
All right. Well, hold on, Brad. Did you give yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
my
gave
bad.
Martin Jones. I gave Kucherov and Martin
yeah.
Jones.
That's right. My bad. I forgot you gave yours. All right. Next up, trade strike. Like we did that in the second period.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
So
it's just who do you want? Like,
that-
just like go. I mean, we can all give the same answer that we gave
Oh,
earlier. Like for
okay,
me,
gotcha.
it's Bo Horvat, but this is primarily like who's your number one trade bait wish list guy? Who do you want more than anybody on that's available right now, even if they're not available, but you've heard them rumored. Like for me, Bo Horvat. Like I know we're probably not going to get him, but I want him. He's at the top of my list.
Patrick Kane.
Okay,
Pasta.
my man.
Yeah,
I'm changing mine up on the
I know
fly.
we'd never get him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's an unrealistic,
You know
like,
what?
this is fun.
Well, yeah, I'm being
I'm with
realistic. Who we
Rob
could
on this
actually
one.
get.
I want pasta. Screw it. Let's roll with pasta on this one. Make that trade happen.
I could even go under the radar and say
You take Kevin.
I could even go. I'm going to go under the radar too, and I'm going to throw a second one out there. Maybe Dylan Larkin, if they make him available, because he's a free agent at the end of the year too. Same
Dylan
situation
Larkin,
with
okay.
Pasta. Mm-hmm.
True. And all right, so that leaves us with hot take of the week, gentlemen. So before that, Tyler, yes, the Flyers are apparently getting new jerseys next year.
What's up, Tyler?
We brought that up a little earlier. The logo will stay the same. It's because Adidas is losing their rights. Is that right, Brian? I think is that what it is?
Something along those lines.
Yeah, Adidas their license
Adidas.
is up. So,
And I think Reebok is taking over again. If I read that right,
Mm.
I think Reebok
we're
is
back to
taking over
Reebok.
again. I think I'm not 100% on that.
I like the
that's what I
Reebok
read.
jerseys better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of like these because I think they cut the head a little bit better. I think this is
True.
just the fit overall is better with what Adidas did.
I could agree on that. Although I will say, yeah, I do miss the tagging. Anyway, all right, gents. Hot takes of the week. Take it away.
Ivan Provorov is traded by the next time I'm on this show.
Oh. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'll jump in.
Just cannonball, Rob. Just do it.
John Tortorella is the best Flyers coach since Lobby.
Yeah, I'm with that.
That's a good hot take. I like that one.
Here you go. Real quick.
All right.
I'm going to throw in a second one because I'm in that mood.
Brad.
Jack Adams Award winner.
Right.
Scooby Torts.
John Tortorella.
Yeah, could be
His second. Okay, he's already got one. Be interesting if you got another.
okay. Mine.
All right then.
You're gonna laugh at this one, but I don't care. It's just the point. The Rangers have finally found a defenseman who can play with Braden Schneider, who is actually playing real well. Ben Harper. And Ben Harper can kick your ass too, so that's kind of a Reeves-like kind of thing.
Ben Harper.
Real happy with Ben Harper right now.
He's not a slouch back there. He's a good defensive defenseman.
That's exactly what he needs. Now he can be an offensive player.
Oh. I was going to say, I'm a big fan of Ben Harper, too, but we're not talking about the same Ben Harper.
I'm a big
Ben
fan of Bryce Harper.
Spell Harpur.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
I was thinking of my man
Listen,
Ben
I'm
Harper.
talking about Ben
singer.
Harper, not Ben Harper.
Ben's Fold 5 or Fivefold or whatever his band's name is.
The one who is 6'6" and it is a mean, nasty defenseman. Perfect compliment for Braden Schneider. Also left-handed, which really helps too.
The Ducks were going in street.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right, so my for the week, the Kraken will get into the playoffs and get no matter who they beat that team.
See it. You can definitely see it. They've beaten a lot of impressive teams this year too.
Yeah, I think they can.
Because
do
you
it.
know what? Because you know what? That's
That
how it
conference.
works. It happens a lot
that conference
in
also-
sports.
Yeah, that conference also blows. So,
Well, the division
it's
of the
definitely
Pacific.
possible. That division just blows.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
you know what?
Central.
Fuck both you guys.
Listen, it's all
Well, I mean, the Sharks
suck.
stink. Okay, so
yeah.
Sharks stink. Ducks stink.
We'll just leave it at the Sharks stink.
Right.
The Kings stink.
Ducks stink.
The Canucks stink. Yeah.
If
You just say it, Brad. Just say it.
All right, the
Just
Ducks
say it.
stink too.
Thank you. Jesus Christ, just get it out.
Yeah, when it comes to the Ducks, I got one thing
I mean-
to say: rabbit season.
Duck season.
Duck season.
Fire.
Wedding season.
listen,
Homer season.
Yes.
all right, guys. So that'll do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We'll see you all next Saturday. Will not be here. He will be traveling, so he will be MIA next week, but he'll be back though next week following. So we'll miss him, but don't worry, he'll be back. He will be back. All the same, though, next week the Flyers do have a game to react to. We do have one, and that will be on the Ducks. Well, now we're going to take on their next door neighbor, the Los Angeles Kings. That'll be who the Flyers will be playing next week on Tuesday night. We'll see you guys then.
You're playing your bitches.
Until next time, though,
We're their bitches, unfortunately.
Yeah.
everyone
The King.
stay safe and stay.
Can't remember the last time we beat them.
Well,
Well, the Flyers always beat the Kings.
So-
Yeah, they do.
normally,
Must
yeah.
be
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Trade news. But then it'll be next week. Until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. From all of us here at A2D and from all of us here at the Hockey Happy Hour, peace and love, everyone.